Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet turtle time.
Amy.
Riley.
Oh my God. That was beautiful. Unfortunately, I keep thinking every time we do it about the people on YouTube who say, I absolutely hate this intro. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Oh, it's awful. You know how we say don't ever say anything bad about us? There are some people that refuse to obey that rule and they say, I hate your guys' intro so much.
No way. I don't believe it.
I don't either. What's more beautiful than two podcast co-hosts who sing each other's names at the start of an episode?
Yeah, it's harmony.
It's beautiful. It just starts me into, it gets those, what's it called when songs enter your body and they start to erupt within, like the chakras?
Uh-huh.
That totally gets my good heart chakra.
Your third eye.
My
open.
third eye. Completely. That's what, I mean, it's been good so far.
You have to say it.
Yes. I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. No offense.
Yeah. No, I'm offended. I feel like I haven't seen you since you went to Chili's.
I know. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay.
I feel like that got some traction. Scheana commented.
Yes, it's not a big good story. Not the best story, but I did want to go to Chili's because I love Chili's independently of the Vanderpump Rules.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
When I was a young boy in my hometown of Sarasota, Florida, it was only chain restaurants.
Yeah.
And Chili's was my favorite chain. We didn't have any Mexican food anywhere. So the closest I ever got was Chili's. So I already loved Chili's. So I thought this would be the perfect thing. It's the easiest thing in the world for me to do. Go get an espresso martini. Plus, I get to drink an espresso martini. Because as you know, I haven't been drinking as much during Megan's pregnancy because it's in solidarity.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't need to get drunk as hell every night, like I used to. But this was kind of like the perfect thing. Go to Chili's, drink espresso martini, and then also I knew I would, film something no matter what it was. And so I called, the guy was so nice on the phone. We got there. We went with, our mutual friend,
Yes.
Lindsay and Michael. And it just, it was fun. I mean, it's decked out at every Chili's. Like, they're on all the, like, placards. I don't know if you saw, but they're on those, what are those things, plastic, they're like ads. that you put, advertising all their stuff. It's like a nationwide huge campaign where they're like the face of these new drinks. It's a huge deal.
I hope they got a fat paycheck for that.
I would say, I mean, I don't do brand deals or whatever, but I would think like to use your face on nationwide on every Chili's for a specialty drink, that's got to be a lot of money.
Yeah. I feel like, you have to say that they're getting some of that sweet Ariana runoff because it's that kind of stuff wasn't really happening before.
No, and also like they're sort of an unlikely Chili's duo.
Right.
It's like we love them. I love Scheana and Katie, but
Do you think they asked everyone and they're the two that said yes? Or do you think they specifically were like, we want these two even though they have a precarious history?
I think Chili's Chili's CEO is definitely like, these two have a precarious history. Are we sure we're factoring this in? Like, there's a lot of nuance to this 10-year relationship.
CEO's like, from Sheena's birthday when Katie called her a whore to most recently.
But then they sort of repaired the relationship during season 5, obviously. No, I do think that they wanted the Uber Eats sacred trinity,
Nothing
which
better.
was. That is like, that was the best brand
savings.
deal. Yeah.
That was
totally.
the peak of humanity.
That was everything for us. Who was that? Lala, Ariana, and Scheana.
Yeah.
So then I think Katie is obviously, everyone loves her. Katie's on a full Katie renaissance. So I think that I don't know. I think they knew that was just right, but I don't know if they, Lala obviously wouldn't have turned it down. Oh, she couldn't have done it.
Why?
Lala couldn't do it because she can't advertise espresso martinis.
That makes sense. Because she's
And then-
preg.
What?
Because she's preg.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that too. But also she doesn't drink.
That's true too. Yeah,
So
double
then-
true.
And then Ariana's so busy. I'm sure they would have thought about Ariana. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that,
I feel like there's a tone to the ad that does imply a vibe between Scheana and Katie. Like there's kind of like Katie keeps like butting in. Like there's sort of like it's not giving like BFF.
No, it's like, yeah, it's not like we love each other so much and we love to drink espresso martinis, but they are adding a little bit of lore in the ads.
Tequila Katie.
Yeah, she goes, I'm Tequila Katie. I haven't seen all of them yet.
Okay.
But anyway, do you think you'll ever go?
Yeah, I would love to. The only one is in Encino, right?
Is
Or
that
I
really
could go to my hometown Torrance location.
Are those really the only Chili's?
I think otherwise maybe you'd have to go east.
Okay.
Like I can imagine there's one in like, I don't know, Alhambra or something.
Yeah, I went to the one in Encino Commons, which I saw on the Valley. They advertised Encino Commons in one of the B-roll shots.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, it was a really good espresso martini. I never drink them. I never have them. And I haven't been drinking since January 1st. So it was amazing.
Is the thing that I'm now trying to remember the messaging, is it with tequila?
You know what? I'll be honest. Now this is a stinker moment, but the guy told me he's gone fully rogue behind the bar and he puts like Grand Marnier and a bunch of other unsanctioned stuff. But I'm sorry to rat this guy out. He's the Encino Chili's manager. Do not bring up that I talked about this. But he said, I don't even know if I should say it. He says,
my God.
He says, I go fully rogue and I make my own version, but Katie and Scheana would love it. I know it's still sanctioned by them. So, you know, it's very much, he's adding a little bit of flair to the Chili's Espresso Martini, and that's only available at the Encino Commons location.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I was just trying to remember because there are jokes about tequila in the ad, because Katie keeps being like, I like tequila Katie, but that's not tied up into the identity of the actual cocktail.
Katie authorized this one at Encino Commons. He said what he was going to do, and Katie said, that's okay, but primarily I want them to be tequila based.
Okay.
So anyway, I really do want you, if you like Chili's, like you just said you do, and you like espresso martinis.
I do. What if I went to Chili's and ordered a few rounds and then I looked down at the receipt on my way out and it said barftinis?
I don't know what I would think. I would say, did you order the right ones? And I would hope that they hadn't labeled the famous new ones.
I hope not. That would be bad branding. No, but I would love to do that. I would love to I'm trying to think. I haven't been there in a long time. So I need to familiarize myself with the menu.
It's still good. There's a secret menu. A lot of Chili's heads know if there's nothing on the menu that you like, you say, can I look at the secret menu? And then they come around with this paper menu that has a bunch of like kind of eccentric items. So I don't know, we'll go
roadside favorites.
Sort of like that. It's it's very, very experimental. And it's like the fajitas are kind of completely different. But anyway, we'll go. Let's go sometime.
Okay, cool. We can also go to the what do they call it? The what's Dorit's room at the Capri room at Buca di Beppo, also in Encino.
I forgot that was Capri.
Yeah.
Capri is so
it's
like
hot right now.
Capri is hot, and Dorit was early on that. That was like 3
That's
years
true.
ago or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah. I do like, now I'm thinking about the Chili's menu. I hope that they put like a little chili pepper or something next to their favorite items because it helps me order. It puts me over the edge.
They do. They have a chili thing, but it's a little confusing because a lot of people, when they see that Chili's favorite, they think, is this spice
extra hot?
So that's an issue. That's an issue at Chili's, but if we go there together, we'll make sure
we'll decode.
Navigate
I also
that.
like when vegetarian things have like a leaf.
Me too.
Because then I could just scan really quickly and see.
Me too. I love that.
I love a key.
Me too. I
Life is hard enough.
It's true. Can we make these menus like easier? Also, this is my secret hack. I always ask the waiter or waitress, I say, what's your favorite thing on the menu? And then if I think it sounds sort of good, I'll get it. But then Megan told me that sometimes they don't care and they just will tell you anything, like whatever if the chef has like sea bass in the back and it's about to go bad, they'll be like, yeah, order the sea bass.
Yeah. I feel like Lisa would love for you to ask that. Like, she'd be like, what goes best with a full-bodied red wine?
No, she would absolutely love that. And then she'd be like,
it would be like the nachos.
Yeah, for sure. Or she'd be like, like the scallops are about to like absolutely
They're
go bad.
already rotten a little bit, but you'll survive.
Yeah. Also, just to end this conversation, if you want to, we can still talk about chilies, but Megan said that if I do anything Turtle Time sanctioned, that's my loophole to drink. So if you ever
Okay, let's
get
come
it,
up with some concepts.
so if there's ever like, like having to go to Sir or Jackson Studio City.
I still haven't been there either.
You've ever been to Jackson Studio City?
That's right.
Oh my God. Wait,
It
really?
was featured heavily this week.
I mean, we
You're
have
like,
to go.
It's done.
It's awesome. Did you get you got a little peek of it in this
Sure,
week's episode?
but it was
about-
like not done at all in this.
Yeah. I mean, that was 70% of the way there.
Okay. I'm also a little alarmed that their go-to design expert is Brittany.
Yeah, I don't know how much she ultimately had approval over. I don't even know really how much Jax had approval over.
Yeah.
He seems very behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
Sort of not. He didn't want to put his flourish on it. But Jackson Studio City is actually cool. It's
Okay.
actually fun, I think.
down.
So let's go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the true before and after, because before it had like a bordello vibe. It had that like kind of
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, whorehouse wallpaper.
Oh yeah, can you remind me what was that wallpaper?
It's like a velvety damask, like maroon. It was very like opulent.
Right. If you're back in the 1860s or
Yeah.
whatever, and you just got to a new
Like the
horror.
gold mining brothel.
What do they have now? I'm so bad at, I'm not observant, so I don't even know.
Well, I
It's
haven't
kind of like-
been, but I assume it's more stripped down, like sports bar vibes.
yeah, I don't know. Actually, they have kind of somebody let me know, little turtle cuties, but they have kind of an eccentric wallpaper inside. It almost looks very similar
We'll
to what I
have to
saw.
visit and see.
Yeah, so that's good. So we don't have any other news, except I wanted to ask you how you feel that something about her is finally
Oh,
open.
yes. Yeah, I was telling you, I didn't click on the link because I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. But I was like, the news, everyone ran with the news, so it seems to be confirmed, but it wasn't an announcement. It was just
No.
a weird article on The Sun.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something. This is a Turtle Time exclusive. No, it's not really. But The Sun, for some reason, I've noticed this because I report on something about her updates. They've had like every aspect of something about her's growth
They have
for
a
the last
mole.
2 years. So there is for sure a rat at something about her that is just spilling and selling stories to The Sun
It's
exclusively
like
over
The
and-
Departed. But
Totally.
they're like going out and they're like, the sandwich shop is opening in a week.
Yeah, completely. And I don't mean a literal rat is running around something about her. So don't
It's not
clip
a full ratatouille.
don't clip this and say Riley says a rat is running around. No, I mean a snitch is learning everything about something about her and selling stories to The Sun. And that was a leaked date. I know that for a fact. May 22nd was a leak, and but now I think they're going to be motivated to try to make that real, because it was what they were going to try to do. They weren't just going to but they weren't going to release that just in
Right.
case there were any extenuating circumstances.
Right.
So they're pissed.
Now, if they don't do that date, everyone's going to be so up in arms.
I know, it's kind of a bummer. I could go two ways about it. I could say it could be the light a fire, get this done, and make that date work no matter what. Just set the date and open it like they tried at Schwartz and Sandy's.
Yeah.
Or it could be another lapsed deadline
Yeah.
that makes them, look like they're taking too long. But I want to say this up front before I forget. I kind of liked Jax's philosophy about Jax's Studio City. It kind of was not noble, but it was kind of like interesting that he was like, I have the opposite take. Let's just open this shit even before it's open so we can start making
Yeah.
money immediately. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't want to do
as
this.
soon as we're allowed to sell. I feel like it's different for him though, because it was already an operating
Yeah,
business
and it
that
had
was
the license.
essentially being rebranded, and it's different to be like
True.
allowed to open.
True, but what's that phrase? Perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Did you ever say that?
Yeah, it'll stop you every time.
Yeah, like, we're just so satisfied with being, Turtle Time, especially mid to good. But like, if you try to make this perfect, you just can't
Oh,
do
you
it.
wouldn't get out of bed.
No, it's like too much. So
Do you think that there's just like cobwebs inside there and all of the little chairs have white sheets over them and they're just like, fuck. Like, what's going on in there?
I believe that they are, well, I don't know, Katie, I guess, or representatives of Katie, because Ariana's pretty busy. Representatives of Katie must be going in there and vacuuming the cobwebs and making sure that no ghosts started to inhabit it.
Logan and Brad.
Logan and Brad.
Are
Well,
sleeping.
Brad's gone. Logan could check in. I'm not saying that Logan would ever do that. Like, he's not paid to go check on something about her, but I'm sure they have a presence there. But another notable thing about this story is that Chef Penny is, I was going to say out on her ass, but Chef Penny is no longer associated with something about her.
Yeah, I keep seeing implications of drama between them and that maybe they parted ways. And I read something about maybe that she had squatted over the something about her name and was like, you're not getting this back.
And I heard she was squatting in the restaurant.
They just found like squirt cans and like string cheese.
Yeah, like we saw. Yeah, I heard that she's squatting. I could see the path to what got Chef Penny, out a little bit. There was that moment where she said, "When are you going to name one of these goddamn sandwiches my name?" Do you remember? That was last season.
Yeah.
She goes, "Which one of these is going to be called Chef Penny?" And they both looked at each other and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then the hiring scene.
Right.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Chef Penny was talking over them. Do you remember? Also, and for our YouTube, there's always some silly thing on YouTube, but I have to put my hat. I have to put my hat over my one of my eyes because the sun. So this is not funny for any audio listeners. It's not funny at all. But for YouTube, I have my hat on crooked, and Amy can barely see my face.
He's like fully wearing like a trucker hat, like jaunted to the side.
I've never had this happen before. It's because we've never recorded this time.
Yeah, it's kind of a precarious time. But yeah, like I said, these sandwiches better be damn good.
You said that.
At this rate, I've been waiting 10 years to get that Green Goddess sandwich.
Me too. Were you one of the lucky few that got to taste the sandwiches that Katie and Ariana were throwing out at BravoCon? Do you remember?
In the Allstate insurance booth?
In the Allstate insurance booth.
Or was it Lay's?
I remember they go, "Get your map." They said, they go, gather around. We're throwing out sandwiches at BravoCon. Do you remember?
Yeah, and then there was like NBC Universal Olympics trash can.
Yeah, it was a really fun event. We never highlighted it on BravoCon, but it was really fun. They say, "Close your eyes and open your mouth. We're gonna be throwing out sandwiches to you all." And I got a taste. One of them went straight into my mouth, the Green Goddess, and it was good.
Good. Someone reminded us that Sandoval's newer assistant Craig was the one that was working his booth at BravoCon.
Yes, for sure. This is to promote our Patreon, but if you go to our BravoCon vlog, which is one of the best things we've ever done in our lives, yes. Amy and I, the BravoCon vlog, you can see me talking out in front of Tom Sandoval's booth when no one was there, and Craig is just sitting right behind me, manning that booth. Yeah. So. What were we talking? Oh, yeah. So anyway, that was all good stuff.
Something about her to come. What was it, May 25th?
May 22nd, I think.
Oh, okay.
I do want to ask, if anybody's listening to this, like, I would love to be a part of the team that, tests it early to make sure that nothing is,
They should definitely invite you for one of your fun videos.
Us. Turtle Time.
I would love to go.
Do you think we will? I think our input would be so valuable.
Yeah.
We could wear like cool tea, Nancy Meyers.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I'll wear a white turtleneck or whatever.
White turtleneck. What is something's got to give? Nancy Meyers.
Yes.
I would wear what Jack Nicholson wears in that.
Sunglasses and like a button down.
He looks, in white pants. He looks really similar to his character with Helen Hunt.
Oh yeah. As good as it gets.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. The similarity of the
something's
title.
Gotta give. James Brooks, is that who made As Good as It Gets? He loves titles like that. I think it's James L. Brooks. So yeah, well, I do want to say, I want to put this on our little turtle cutie, radar. If you hear about soft openings for something about her, let Amy and I know, because I think our feedback would be very valuable. Yeah.
We could always recreate the experience and just eat like Uncrustables in the Sir Alley if they won't let us in.
And then say that's our review.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's kind of a threat. if something about her doesn't let us go early, we're gonna eat Uncrustables in the alleyway between Sir and something about her, and say that was
Watch
our
out.
experience.
I saw at Costco, not only do they have Uncrustables, they have a second off brand that was called like
Whoa, off.
Uncrusters.
That's like off?
Well, Uncrustables I think are Smuckers.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're saying this is like Uncrustables are such a good category that there's now even something.
Yeah, it was called like No Crusters.
I was thinking Costco Crusters.
And they were triangle, not circle.
They have to get away from the copyright infringement.
My cart couldn't roll away faster. I was like, absolutely not.
I heard a thing that Travis Kelce, just because he's kind of on my radar now, I'm trying to become friends with him. He only eats Uncrustables.
For real?
Yeah, they asked him
they're the bomb.
Yeah, I know. They're really. I've had a couple recently, but
they're the best when you're just like desperate.
Yeah.
Like where you're like, if I don't eat, I will die, or hungover, or like we're working and forgot to eat, and just like it's really hard. It's crazy to me that soon you will have to feed another human because I find it very hard to feed myself.
I'm ready for that. I am so ready for whatever takes my mind off me.
Yeah.
I'm so
I've heard
ready.
That's a plus.
I'm so ready to just only think about, no longer myself. When I'm left to think about myself, it sucks. So I'm ready to just say, when's it time to feed my baby a banana? Or you know what I mean?
Sure.
That kind of stuff. Or something about her.
Yeah, a little baby sandwich.
That'd be so cute. I was gonna say about Uncrustables. Typically, when I get the Uncrustables urge, I'll just make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, which they're similar.
A lot of work,
right?
They have those little forms where you can make your own Uncrustable. It's like a cookie cutter, and then you
crimp.
Yeah, you crimp them together. And I'm like, if I want to do all this, I'd make like a fucking roast chicken.
But isn't this always the case?
Yeah.
Like if you want, it's like it always is good to have something easy, but
cooking is so much work. I can't believe people love it.
I found a loophole.
Can't stand
I
it.
hate it too, but I found a loophole. Get a Trader Joe's thing that's only requires 2 items
frozen
to
bag.
make. Yeah, even just Trader Joe's makes it kind of easy. Just get 2 things from Trader Joe's and heat them in different ways.
Yeah. I tried to be healthy the other night because I've been eating fast food for most of this year, or like takeout, because I just have been moving around a lot.
Of course.
And I was like, in my new apartment, I was like, I'm going to make like salmon and whatever. Smoke alarm immediately goes off.
Really? Is it too sensitive?
Never doing it again.
Were you
it wasn't like fucked up. Like my food was fine. It like, sometimes gets smoky when you use the oven. But I guess now I need to like have the fan on and like maybe a window open. Learn the hard way.
It's a rare day in my house when a fillet or something smokes out the house, but it happens.
Yeah.
One in every 20 times if I'm cooking a steak.
Joke's on me.
I'm sorry that happened to you. But if you do that overhead fan thing, that'll work. And if you do want to lightly introduce cooking into your life, might I recommend the New York Times cooking app?
Oh.
They have a it's kind of expensive for people who are not rich, but it has like a lot of simple meals, 5-item meals. It's like there's a introductory step towards cooking that I really value.
Okay. That's good. I feel like, during COVID, I was doing more cooking, but pretty soon that will have been 5 years ago.
I was thinking about COVID. I barely ever think about it, but I honestly just consider those 3 years like the lost years. Like I never want to think about them again or anything that I did. When Jax was saying Lisa didn't talk to me for 3 years on this episode of Vanderpump Rules, I was like, it was COVID.
Yeah.
No one talked to anyone. No one knew what anyone was doing. We did, but it's like it doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait to get into that.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's take a break from, we did good. Chili's, something about her, but let's take a little pause, you and I, and then let's talk about, first up, right after our Certified Turtle Piss break, let's talk about Vanderpump Rules. It's called Jack's Attack.
He's back.
He's back. Did you like this episode?
It was fun seeing him back in the mix, I have to say.
Okay, good. All right, let's take a quick break, Certified Turtle Piss break, and then we'll come right back. We're back.
So what did you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I was a little worried that I overrated it initially because I kind of had a strong reaction watching it. Jax being back, the Lisa Jax scene got me fired up, and I've been waiting for that scene for a long time. I didn't realize how much I needed to see this new revelation in their relationship, because it was almost like they just picked up from the season 8 finale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Jax said his horrible things to Lisa.
Right.
So I love that. And then I really felt that chaotic, messy energy at the end when they were at James's house, when it started to get a little unwieldy.
Yeah.
And like people started losing, the plot a little bit. It got a little unregulated, which I really like.
It was interesting. His energy at that party was like nothing we've seen on the Valley.
Jax.
Yeah.
Jax was definitely unhinged, and he was like a kid in a candy store being back with his old friends. I was almost like, Jax, take a breath, because you're blowing it. Like he was so eager and happy to be back that he was kind of going, he was partying a little too hard, I thought.
He looked wild.
Yeah. But so that was great. There was some fun moments, but then I rewatched it. It's like the first 15 minutes were kind of a drag. Like not the best. It really sort of, the back half really like solidified it for me as a classic episode, but it was kind of took a little bit to get there.
Yeah, for sure. This didn't go anywhere, but like one of the first little setups that they showed was Lala going to that fake I don't know what to call it, non-alcoholic liquor store that's not to dox myself, but very close to where I live now.
Oh.
And I got excited, and I was like, damn, they made her go all the way from Westwood to Silver Lake to just for no reason. I guess it was maybe it was a scrapped scene with her brother, I guess.
Sorry, I got it a little verklempt there. I think that always those are scrap scenes. Those are always scrap scenes that they use for B-roll. Because I was kind of wondering what Katie was doing in hers, where she was just like looking at a flower petal.
Yeah,
it was just like
she was like spraying roses.
Yeah,
like, okay.
But I do. I now that I know that Lala was near you, I do feel a little bad. What do you think she wanted to?
That's so far. It's like an hour.
What do you think she wanted to convey in that scene with her brother?
Guess what, guys? I still don't drink.
Yeah, I did have the same thought where I was just like, Lala has been sober now for 6 years. Not that it's always good. Mm-hmm. It's always like, I would tout that forever. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I always sense that there's a storyline to be had for her in this. But they didn't really give her that. They just gave us a little B-roll of them shopping.
Yeah.
Katie does the flowers.
Ariana is FaceTiming with her boyfriend, which is this the first time we're seeing him outside of like them showing his Instagram or something like that?
I feel like we maybe, saw his Instagram, maybe heard his voice very, very early, but no, this was the first Daniel showcase in 2 different scenes, I think, unless I'm forgetting, but it's one of the first times we're seeing him.
I think so. They have decided that they're going to take the airplane over James's house to the grave, like every single time.
Yes, but I will say, when Jax was there and Allie was talking about it, like not to step on it, but it did make it seem much more that this is an actuality that they deal with every day. Because Jax commented on it, Allie talked about it. But you're right. Like at first I thought it was shade and they were just pointing to any plane that they saw while they were filming there. But now that we know, it's like, oh no, this is something they deal with every single day.
Yeah. I did get a chuckle at Jax's lower third being ex-Sir employee.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I thought that was funny too, and I was wondering why it seems so odd to classify him as that, but it's really the only way that you can explain who Jax is without breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
Like they would never say former cast member. Right. They can't say Sir employee.
Right.
So they just have to say, I mean,
he hasn't done anything since.
They couldn't say anything. It was so funny. But yeah, he's in this world, he's an ex-Sir employee. He got there immediately. It was kind of like, here's Jax.
Yeah. I guess it's like, if you think about it, he could get to James's house in like 5 minutes, probably 5 to 10.
And that's because I'm so bad with geography, but Burbank, 10 minutes away from the Valley?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where Jax's house is. Do they call that Valley Village too?
We know where it is. You've driven by. It's no, it's like it's right on that. It's like on the same.
I think it's presumably quite close.
I would
to
say
James.
10 to 15.
Not 15.
So you're right. Probably about 12.
I'd say 5 to 7.
All right, let's do the Jax to James challenge and see how quick we do it.
But yeah, so like they give a little history on them, which forces them to play a great clip, the more cosmopolitans, Pumptini, which we haven't gotten to see in a minute.
No, they love it. Was kind of what you say, where it's like this season is definitely a retrospective in a way of the flashbacks they want to show. I did kind of forget where Jax and James left off because they showed up that moment from season 6 where they absolutely hated each other. But I know they got much better towards the end of season 8. You know, like they were good.
Yeah, like Jax didn't care that much anymore.
Yeah, but I was a little surprised that like James was the olive branch for Jax this entire episode to get him back for the Sir brunch, to get him back to his house. Like they don't have that great of a relationship, but it was nice. It was nice of James to do that.
Yeah. And, you know, they're talking about how everyone's going to be there. Jax is like, is my best friend Katie going to be there? And this is where they set up that he says Katie's been spreading lies about him cheating.
Right.
Which she's talked about on the after show and myriad other places, essentially saying that she saw something on Reddit. She sort of, you know, whatever. I would do the same thing if I saw something like that. But she kind of plays dumb and is like, everyone has access to Reddit. So me telling it to people is no different than the general public.
I have a bone to pick with that.
Go on.
That you just touched upon, which is that there are so many rumors on Reddit that everyone sees, that you and I all see, that we actively deflect because we're like, this is not a proper source. This is some user on Reddit. You know, when Rachel Leviss, everyone was saying she's pregnant with Sandoval's baby, and 6 people reported on that. You and I so diligently said, absolutely not. Or even that fake place that they said that she was at, or whatever. All those fake fucking stories. So I do think it's a little shitty of Katie to bring up one of those really dumb Reddit theories that just generated from nothing, bring it up on the show, and then be like, hey, that's what people talk about. Well, then you could have brought up Rachel Leviss being pregnant with Sandoval's baby. Would you ever have done that on the show? Or the Brock Raquel cheating rumor that just popped up out of nowhere, and then like that just disappeared. Like there is some due diligence that the cast member should do so that a stupid rumor doesn't make it onto the show.
Sure. I mean, that's like a tale as old as time on Housewives and stuff where they go, well, that's what I heard. And it's like, okay, but you said it again.
If they, I mean, like seriously, if you wanted a storyline to accuse someone of anything, have Turtle Time. We could tweet out anything in the world. I just saw Shane Simpson drunk off his ass at Chili's, and they kicked him out. And then you could have Gina say, look what the hell Shane Simpson's been running around. Turtle Time just tweeted it. You know what I mean? It's like, you can always find justification for almost anything in the universe that you wanted to use. It's up to them to not bring that garbage onto the show.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little, like she should have just been like, yeah, I didn't. You know, like, I said it, whatever. Like, whatever.
So Katie, I mean, we never say anything bad, but I don't think that was right. I think Jax deserved to get a little peeved at that.
I mean, they talked about it before on like the Valley after show, or I mean, I guess it's just all the same, but that was it Janet, that's an online sleuth who debunked the rumor.
I that's a great friend to have in a group. It's like, I think Janet was the one who debunked the Brock Raquel one. She's like, this is where it originated. This is the user who said it. They since deleted it. Then everything else is building on this one rumor. So you can throw this out. Check this out. Like that's an important, valuable friend to have in this equation. Did you think really quick before we move forward, when Jack says, I've got, you know, I'm pissed at Katie or whatever, we're not friends, James sort of said, Allie. He goes, Allie, sorry, don't you have a reading to go do right now? And he made her leave.
Don't you have somewhere to be?
And I was trying to think of why he did that. I was like, what, did you want a solo scene with Jax?
Right.
Or did you not want did he not want Allie to hear whatever filth might potentially come out of Jax's mouth?
She was like, but tell me what he says, because I want to know.
Yeah, she really wanted to be in that scene. I thought that was a little odd. And it was a bad excuse that James said. Don't you gotta somewhere to sort of be? I was like, James never does that. He never normally like. Do you think there was any reason other than maybe he just wanted to have a solo scene with Jax?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was kind of odd.
Then they started shooting b-ball.
Oh, right.
And they talked about how Jax is gearing up for Sir Brunch with James, co-hosted, right? And this is the second attempt that they tried. Because you and I went to the first one when it was a night event, and that was the one that Jax said he had a family emergency and he can't.
Tale as old as time.
He can't last minute, so they're not even acknowledging that he tried that.
Right. That he just didn't show up. It was so crowded.
Yes.
That was the time that I was like, I'm not coming here again.
I know. The night one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the brunch looked so crowded that they could barely film anything within the confines of the actual interior of the restaurant. They had to do the exterior where Lisa was and where the group was.
And I mean, this will come up later when they actually go or whatever, but for Lisa to feign that she had no clue that it was going to be build both James and Jax.
Yeah.
That she like showed up and saw the flyer and was like, "What's all this then?"
Yeah, like Peter potentially did all of the work.
We'll never know. We'll never see him again.
Who?
Peter.
Why? Because
they don't want to pay him.
Oh, that's true. Oh my God. Oh, you're right. I thought you were like he got fired by Lisa because he did an unauthorized
There's that
brunch.
Lookalike guy that at the front door looks just like Peter, but older.
Oh, I love that guy.
Well,
that's the guy that
he got you in, got us in.
He got us in. He goes, "You and your wonderful friends get in here immediately. I love the look of all three of you." So no, you're right. Peter, we already said this. This was a Turtle Time exclusive. Peter, his episodic rate is probably like 10 grand now. And they say, "Peter, get in the back. The cameras are coming. So you need to go in the kitchen because we don't want to have 1 second of your face."
Yeah.
This also happened on Summer House. I think last week's Summer House episode, Jesse was at the first event.
Right.
And, like there's footage of him, but they didn't want to include him in the episode because I don't think they wanted to pay him.
But how does that work if you're actively in the main cast? My theory is that he wasn't there for the whole weekend, or he was like staying with someone else or something, and he just wanted to pop in and party. And they're like, "But if you're not present like on the call sheet this weekend, then like we're not showing you."
It might have been he wasn't on the call sheet, so it was unsanctioned. He just wanted to party with his friends and not miss a moment.
Yeah.
Also, non-union rules could be if you don't make the final cut, you don't get paid potentially. But that's the only justification I could. Oh no, actually, no, never mind. Why am I doing conspiracy brain? Also, they could have just not wanted to explain why he wasn't. Like why they said he was. Yeah. So whatever. But I think the Peter thing is
great proof that they all bro down no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah,
totally. But I think Peter is purposefully not being included this season so they don't have to pay him. That's
tragic.
That's sad.
There was a cat update. I don't know if you noticed. They finally gave Scheana's other cat a lower third. And did you catch the name?
Please tell me.
Penny Lane. She's still riding hard for Almost Famous.
Penny Lane is the star. Is Kate, what's her name?
Hudson.
Kate Hudson's name in that?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's what's her other name? Other cat's name?
Well, formerly she had that black cat Salem.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if he's with us.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, I was glad to know what the other cat's name was.
Yeah, I was waiting for that lower third. I kept week after week saying, "What's this damn cat's name?"
Yeah. This is when Brittany arrives, right?
Yes. And Scheana says they're very close. They have been. They were pregnant at the same time. That, it seems like maybe they're the closest of the group.
Yeah. I really saw a lot of merit to Scheana and Brittany's friendship in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Brittany was being a very good friend to Scheana, a very good listener.
Yeah.
Like, just listening to her, validating her feelings, being sweet. I really like that. I was a little offended that the editors or whoever decided to, like, introduce Brittany again. You know what I mean? They're like, they had to, like, say who she was again. It's like, this is for we're watching Vanderpump Rules. Like, her legacy is too powerful to have to ever remind us who Brittany is.
Right. I mean, Scheana says she never wants to be pregnant again. And Brittany says that as of that month or the next month that they're officially going to start trying to have another kid. And I'm like, thank God that didn't happen, because they would have just been trapped or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, it would have been so much harder for them to break up.
But I do think that's one of the reasons that Brittany used that their relationship was not working, because Jax kept pushing it off and wouldn't make time to make love to her.
Yeah.
So him not being ready was like a warning sign for her a little bit too.
Well, I'm glad.
That they didn't have one. I still am really. I think we said last week that Brittany needs to get the hell out of there, but I don't know.
Changed your mind?
Yeah, I really had some Jax. I got like back on Jax's not side, but I really saw the full power of Jax again in these 2 episodes, and I was like, just listen to what Brittany says and make her feel those butterflies again, or whatever she asked him to do. It's like, you can do this, Jax. She loves you. Just try to be better, and don't scream at her for drinking tequila or whatever like you did. I think that he needs to just do the 4 things that she said, because nobody's going to love him more than Brittany loves him.
Yeah.
You think for Brittany's health and well-being, she should get the hell out of
Escape.
there. What if he treated her better? What if he did the peyote ayahuasca ego death thing that Jesse did to get that mean spark out of him? Would you think? Would you think?
Great for Jesse?
Well, Jesse didn't do it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to know more also about what she mentioned a few times about how the tables turned at one point after Vanderpump Rules and Brittany started bringing home the bacon, and I need to know more about that. I assume she means like she had that Jenny Craig deal
I think
and
that
like
was
a
it.
bikini line or like a bathing suit line.
Yeah.
There were like a couple of things that I think he's kind of a difficult figure to
Brand.
sponsor. Yeah.
Totally. This Valley episode sort of showed it.
Yeah.
He was like a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
He was like,
It was kind of amazing.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was to see Jax lie his ass off to all these investors about
He's
his.
so
It was,
I mean, it's obviously total bullshit, but exhilarating nonetheless.
it was like Daniel Plainview up there. It was so good. Okay, but before we get there, I can't wait to talk about it. Scheana is talking about how her and Brock are going through a rough patch. They're at each other's throats, and they show the montage of them yelling at each other.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I don't think any of their fights are like so horrible that it's not like Jesse and Michelle. That's
Yeah.
like the bar now.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you guys absolutely hate each other. You don't want to make this work. I think Scheana and Brock's fights are all within reason.
Yeah.
And I think like Kyle and Amanda, we talk about like there is this deep burning love between them that like sort of invalidates any fight, I think.
Mhm.
But she does want to get to the bottom of it, figure out what they can do. And a lot of it stems from Brock's, I'd say, I guess, insecurity / worry that he's never going to get to do anything for himself and like make money, and like his business and all of his income is tied to like what Scheana does, I think. Right? That's kind of what he was
Yeah.
I think he's permanently like Scheana Incorporated.
Yeah.
And he misses the time when he could be sort of a freewheeling agent, sort of make money, but now he's sort of stay-at-home dad / Sheena's vlogger.
Right.
And he's like, and I think they're saying that his alpha male tendencies, he's not used to like not being the breadwinner, so it kind of eats at him a little bit.
Mhm.
That's what they're talking about.
Right. I mean, I think it was Brittany and Lala saying in the after show that Scheana, they were like, she tends to choose the kinds of guys where she is able to be the
Yeah.
one wearing the pants or whatever, which like I feel like obviously with Shay it was like a full blown like she didn't consider him at all.
Yeah.
Whereas with Brock, I do feel like originally he was along for the ride, and I'm not saying an opportunist, but like they were both down to clown, and obviously the leverage is her celebrity. So like I think they did it together, and I think they liked doing it together, but that opportunity was based on her being on the show.
Yes.
Which is like fine. But I feel like now he has more of a voice.
Yeah.
They have a kid now. It sounds like he's like wanting to, I mean, he's saying he wants to like do his own thing more.
Yeah, but I think that I do think that there's a part of it, 50% of it is that he feels in his mind, like he should be earning an income to like
Yeah.
help support. But Scheana is saying very sweetly, in my opinion, I love what you do and I value the work you do. And I
Yeah.
love having you with Summer and also / being my videographer and helping me with my business of being an influencer. You're also an influencer on your own. I
Yeah.
mean, like soon, if Brock's on another season, like, I mean, he's going to start being a notable figure on his own apart
Yeah.
from her. So I think he just needs to, what's it called when you wait out the storm? Like just ride this out, take from Scheana, the cue from Scheana that she very much values what you're doing. And I think
it's very shades of Carl and Lindsay.
totally reverse, I was thinking.
Yeah. Like him and Carl are in the same boat where they're trying to figure out what they want. They both say they want to pursue production.
Yes. Brock said he's got 2 shows in development.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
Well, obviously the bar for development is like you can send an email to someone at like
Right.
UTA with a pitch and say I'm currently starting to develop
It's in
something.
development.
Yeah.
But the difference is that Lindsay's like, it's a boner killer that you don't know exactly what you want to do, and Scheana is like,
No.
it's cool.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know. I mean, their bar for Brock's bar for like what he wants to get done is like so much higher than mine. If I was a cast member on a reality show and also helping someone do a videographer and also as a dad, like all that stuff, like I would be so content.
He's putting in pavers, like
Pavers,
posting on Instagram.
He's doing #farm life in his own house. It's like that's one of those things we talk about where it's like, when do you have enough? You
Yeah.
got to be satisfied. No, most people will never be on a reality show in their life.
Yeah.
A lot of people, over thousands of people, will never be on a reality show. Just be happy with what you have.
Yeah.
What the hell are you striving for?
Right.
You guys are rich. The Chili's money.
Oh my god.
The Chili's dump truck is about to dump a huge thing of cash on your guys' doorstep. You know what I mean?
I love that for them. And yeah, they just bought. Well, I think Scheana bought it, but
So this
a
is
new house.
this is maybe so we can breeze through the other Scheana and Brock scenes. This is a through line.
Yeah.
It's a through line that almost has a beginning, middle, and end. Like I actually think that they like kind of got to a good place throughout the arc of this.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked it. But anyway, if we do have to breeze through. But
Sure. Yeah. I mean, she talks about to Brittany that her postpartum OCD and anxiety causes her to spiral out about the potential of him
Yes.
cheating, even though there's, in her opinion, no validity to that. She was like, holy shit, like what if he cheated with a nanny and all this? And then they are saying how they need to spend time together. Their anniversary's coming up and they go to that corny ass restaurant.
Barton G's.
What is that?
Oh my God. It's so cool. It's near Sir Restaurant. And when you order a gin and juice, I first go, I've never heard somebody order a gin and juice. I go, Brock's from New Zealand. That must be like way more prevalent to drink. He's from New Zealand, right? Like
Australia?
I thought he's from New Zealand.
Okay, I could be wrong.
But I was like, whoa, gin and juice. Like I haven't ever heard that. I was like, that's gonna be so fun. And then they accompany it with the Snoop Dogg song. I like that kind of stuff. I kind of thought it was fun. I wanted to order
that
one.
restaurant reeked of like that Mr. Brainwash type of art where it's like Scrooge McDuck with like an
Money.
AK-47 and like
Yeah, or Scrooge McDuck, Darkwing Duck, like with Batman.
it would be like Mr. Monopoly.
Yeah, with
on top of
Mr. Monopoly with Bill Gates' head on it, right?
Yeah, it would be like Veuve Clicquot bottles with like blood
Right, or like
coming down.
Yeah, or like Mickey Mouse, but he's got like money coming out of his or he's like a rat. He's more of a characteristic rat, but he's
on
got
top
Mickey
of like
Mouse.
gold bars.
Totally. That is so you're right. Now that I think about it, I didn't see that brainwash art, but you're right. Do you remember that movie? Open through the Exit through the gift shop. I remember that was kind of a movie that everyone made us watch culturally.
Yeah.
It was like the first A24 movie before there was A24 where everyone hip had to go see it.
Yeah.
It sucked.
I mean, I shudder to think Banksy had a show downtown in like 2006.
Right.
And I went and I was like, this is incredible.
I thought the same thing. I go, is Banksy among us right now? I was like, who's Banksy? I would like look out my clicker, this place I used to work at. Well, I shouldn't have outed my own business or old business, but I look out the window and like Banksy, you'd see new Banksy art. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
I remember someone was like, that big one on the wall, Brad and Angelina bought that last night.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Now Banksy can't give his art away.
Yeah. Do you think it totally tanked? Does it like not have value?
This is a coincidence, but there's a Banksy garage sale like 2 miles from us. He's just selling a bunch of Banksy garbage.
Yeah. It's it's like a money, but it has like George Bush on it.
Well,
and like blood.
I saw this on Craigslist. It's Banksy garage sale, and it shows one of the art pieces, and exactly what you said. It's George Bush with laser beams coming out of his eyes, and they're destroying something. Do you remember Shepherd Ferry?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why did we know all these like graffiti?
Yeah.
Like
I had an
artists?
Obama Hope
of course
art on my door in 2000. What was that? I guess 8 or 7.
Of course.
Because my dad, he's a reformed Republican, and I was like, Obama forever, and he was like,
was he getting pissed? Getting steamed?
He was like, I love that you're involved.
Oh,
like,
that's sweet.
He cared more that I
That's
cared about voting than that he was a McCain head.
He was a McCain head back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Oh my gosh.
I bet he read that book you love.
I was just going to bring up Game Change. It is so good. I saw Little Turtle Cutie actually started reading Game Change. They said they were blown away by it.
Gotta get it.
Game Change and Double Down are so good because here's why it was so good to me. You and I were young. I'm older than you, but I was young and I was not politically aware. I would read one headline and be like, that's my news for the month. I've got everything I need to know. And I just let who was the vice president? Sarah Palin. I just let that whole era just kind of wash over me. But having your brain now thinking about politics back then when you didn't know shit is so fun.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. No, I gotta read it. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, so Banksy art.
That dumbass restaurant.
So we don't have to talk about that scene. I did think it was very sweet. So we'll skip that scene. But I did think that ultimately, like, they came to agreement and they realized they just love each other and they want to do couples counseling. And I thought that was like a good overall, like, they resolved all their issues. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
I like really saw Scheana and Brock's power when she was like, you're cute. I saw your little juicy ass when you were getting ready. Like, I saw like the chemistry there. I was stoked.
Did you see she ordered an espresso martini?
Of course I did. I go, Scheana, are you playing 4D chess where you knew that this was going to potentially air right when Chili's is mass marketing your espresso? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I will say that I know that they bring it up, and like she says to him, this is your second chance to be a great dad, and you're so good to her, whatever. But I'm like, ooh, it's really hard to get past the fact that he just has kids that he has not seen essentially their entire life.
Okay, I agree. She said, we're talking about this scene, but that's okay. I agree that when she said, this is your chance to be a second dad, I knew that just like you said, it rings wrong. You know what I mean? Because you're like, what's going on with the first dad life? Yeah. But I do think Brock is physically, unless I'm wrong, is like almost physically unable to be in for a lot of reasons. But I know it's not good, but I'm just saying, like, I do think I sense from him, and I don't want to be a Brock stan because I know people still find him despicable, but I do think that I sense the yearning to be a good dad. And as long as he keeps acknowledging, and Scheana keeps acknowledging that there is this family that he needs to see and he needs to make things right, that's what I need. Yeah. I just need them to never forget and just pretend that Summer is his only daughter. And when he's crying, he cried. He goes, I can't believe I'm crying right now at Barton G's while Gin and Juice is playing. Yeah. Like, as long as he acknowledges it, I'm okay with it. As long as he's yearning and striving to be, she shouldn't say second dad or whatever. Yeah. Like, that this is like a unique experience where you get to make things right. But I got what she was saying. Like, don't you enjoy just spending a lot of time with Summer?
I just imagine his other kids like watching the footage of him being an amazing dad, which I don't think is that uncommon. I feel like a lot of people fuck up the first time and then they have a second family and then they get it right the second time.
I did.
Oh my God, you have a little turtle somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to talk about it, but yeah, I had a full. No, it's nice to do a full redo.
Well, it's like Martin Scorsese, his current 20-year-old daughter, however old she is, they like go viral on TikTok every day. They're like dabbing and like dancing, and he brings her to the Oscars.
Oh, Martin Scorsese's daughter.
And he has like a 50-year-old daughter that I think he left in the lurch like in the 70s.
She wasn't as well, I've heard word on the street is that she wasn't as cool as Francesca, his new daughter. I get what you mean. It's for a lot of times it's a nice chance to do things over again. Woody Allen is obviously the
poor
prime
timing.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes you get kids at a wrong time in your life.
And you say, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, the classic examples like obviously Ronan Farrow. Like, I'm just kidding.
We all know who his daddy is.
Frank Sinatra, old blue eyes.
I'll take that to the grave. I have no interest in any math or research except that he looks like him.
You know, the only sticking point for me that it's not is that Ronan Farrow is kind of smart. And I don't think old blue eyes, no offense to our Sinatra heads, but I don't think old blue eyes was that smart. And you got to be kind of smart to be a journalist. So I think, and I'm not saying Woody Allen's smart. I'm just kidding. I think that it's, I don't want to get into the full Mia Farrow, Rona Farrow shit. I just think that I'm kind of almost positive that's Woody's boy, but he does look like old blue eyes.
It's crazy.
Do you think he's, I
think it's a fun conspiracy, even if potentially he was dead by the time he was born.
Frank.
Was there a brief overlap? Like maybe on his
deathbed? Yeah,
Rosemary's
Baby. Oh, another canceled legend, or not legend, canceled. Sorry, another canceled director. Frank Sinatra broke up with Mia Farrow on the set of Rosemary's Baby, and I think just after is when Woody Allen got. We don't have to keep talking about Woody Allen, but
keep running into landmines around every corner, predators.
But no, I do think that's a good conspiracy. And Mia Farrow, to her credit, sort of teased the possibility of it. She said something like, "Don't they look kind of alike? I can't tell who was the father."
She's always whiling on Twitter.
Mia.
Yeah.
Is she still active?
I haven't been. I'm very scarcely on that platform anymore.
Just to give her a compliment, she's really good in Rosemary's Baby.
It's one of the greats.
Yeah, she's really good in that.
Okay. So this is where shit sort of picks up a little bit. We get the Toms together. Schwartz picks up Sandoval in a, I guess, 80s. Oh,
did you? Well, just to go back once. Did you want to talk at all about that Mel's Diner?
Yeah, I skipped that. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I didn't know if we wanted to breeze past it. I mean,
I've been to that Mel's.
I know it's on what's that street?
Is it on Ventura?
Yeah. I think it's right on Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
In the Valley.
Yeah. For some reason, Tom and Katie are getting lunch. They just want to make sure we are still thinking about this Tori thing.
She kind of has a limp excuse for why she did this. Because just in last week's episode, if I'm not mistaken, she said, "I don't want to go on one-on-ones with you. I don't like anything you're doing, and I don't want to be associated with you right now." And then she has to give a big confessional where they must have done it like in post, said, "Hey, this scene doesn't make any sense. Explain why you're doing this."
Yeah, she's like, "I know I just said that I didn't want to hang out with him, but actually I kind of do want to hang out with him and maintain a friendship or whatever."
They get a milkshake.
Yes. Did you notice? We talked about it, but they both ordered whatever they ordered. I think she got a veggie sandwich and he got... Veggie omelet.
Yep.
And because I was like, veggie. Okay. And the waiter was like, a milkshake maybe?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah.
Classic upselling.
And I'm like, would I have the willpower? Like, would I be like, you know what? Fuck it, I will.
I would have said absolutely not. And I would have said, don't recommend that again. He knew that they're on camera and he knew they looked rich as hell. So he knew you got to upsell them at the thing. I worked at Applebee's and they always said, don't just say you can have water. They would say, would you like to start with orange juice or coffee?
Yeah.
And then people wouldn't even think that water was an option.
Right. I was at El Pollo Loco the other day and she was like, do you want to make it a combo?
Yeah.
Do you want to add guacamole? And I was like, damn, what's in it for you? Like, geez.
She gets a little cut. I was at Chili's. No offense to Chili's, but they go. I said, I just want this one espresso martini. I'm having a liquid lunch, and they go, would you like flipping dippers for $2 with that? I was like, no.
$2? How could you say no? You were really not going to eat?
I did eat. I ate something. They said.
I just ripped your anecdote apart.
No, Chili's management did come over. They said, "Sir, I think you should get some food
There's a
in
minimum,
your stomach."
Like you have to eat if you're gonna drink.
They said, yeah. They said, please order the triple dipper because it's you don't seem like you're okay. So this was, yeah, you're right. Looking back on this scene, it was just to show us a little more Tori. They had a race to see who Tori would text back first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I listened to Katie on Danny Pellegrino's podcast, which I don't recommend. It was boring. Sorry.
How was Danny Pellegrino as an interviewer?
He is fine. He kind of like gives up on the question if he can tell that she doesn't want to answer it, which like she never wanted to answer anything.
Yeah.
And so then he would just like move on, and it's like, no, make her sit in it or make her say like that she will not answer it.
Yeah, I felt a little. I really like Danny Pellegrino.
Yeah.
And we're like, he's like 10 times. Like he's amazing, and he's so good on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
But I felt like he was doing the thing where he was like almost answering the question for her because she wouldn't give him like an answer. So he was like, what's that called? Like leading the witness a little bit, and also it felt a little stilted.
Yeah, like he'd be like, okay, well, anyways, blah blah blah, and I was like, all right, well, so she wouldn't say anything, and then he would try and fill the gap. So it was kind of whatever,
I
but
agree.
she doubled down on the Tori thing.
She does like her.
Like she said it was real. Like that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, okay. And then they show the date when Schwartz goes, how was the date with Tori? And Katie goes, it was really good. And then they just show a scene for 1 second of Tori popping champagne. It just spills all over Katie's floor. And she goes, this is going really well. And then that's it. It's like, that must have been a really bad date.
I'm like, was that any different than the art date, or was that like the same?
That was the same day.
Yeah.
Did you see when Tom texted Tori? Did you see what the last text was?
No.
It was good. It was really good. So it seems like Tori texted him. Tori texted him, and his response was, "Hi, Tori. Shit. It's next to impossible to make plans while we are filming. Let's let the stars bring us back for number 2. Eiffel Tower emoji. Happy Sunday."
That's what Joe has been dealing with this whole time, where he's like, I refuse to confirm anything.
So first of all, it's like he missed a text for 2 days or 3 days where she said, would you ever want to go on another date? I love, let's let the stars bring us back for number 2. I'm going to say that for everything. Can we just talk about this the next time the stars align? The
planets will decide.
Yeah, that was really good. And I also like that it acknowledged filming in the text. It said,
that's great. Yeah. I love, because he doesn't give a fuck about this scenario.
He didn't like Tori. No offense to Tori. And she's she's a huge Turtle Time fan, but I think Katie liked Tori more than Schwartz did. But yeah, they do the race, and I think that's it for that scene.
I've said it. I enjoy, even though that portion of it is total bullshit, seeing them lighthearted together is like such a relief.
It was.
It's just like nice.
It was really nice. They really have a secret language that I can, we can hear it, we can understand it, but they do know each other so well that they're really able to like say fun things to each other, be funny to each other. Like
when she's like, you didn't say anything about when I had my life-changing haircut, and he was like, when did that happen? I must have missed it.
Yeah.
And she's like, hello.
It was cute.
Yeah, it's just like, I hate to say I feel like a true badge-wearing misogynist, which I will be accused of every time I say that Katie's like a wet blanket or something, because it's just like, whatever. But I'm like, and I hate that I'm saying that the scenes where she's nice to her ex, I like her more.
Yeah.
But it's like, she's almost always in a defensive position.
Yeah.
Which is like, you could say she's being put in that position.
Yes.
But it's just not fun to watch. So seeing her be like lighthearted and just like enjoying herself and not being pissed off is nice.
Yeah, it was sweet. And they've had, those scenes became few and far between as the relationship curdled. But this showed a glimpse into what it was like when they were doing well.
Yeah.
And I think that Schwartz and Katie was sort of a mini Brittany and Jax off camera, where I think Katie, I assume, probably gave Schwartz the 3 things that she really needed. And Schwartz just dropped the ball completely. And, you know, Katie did what Brittany did, but even more so. Said, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
You're never going to do this, and divorced him.
I wonder if, I feel like Schwartz still regrets that happened. Like, by the time they got divorced, his public take was that he fucked up and that he was a bad husband and a bad partner. So, like, he acknowledged that he wasn't, like, going around saying that, like, she sucked or that there's nothing that could have been done. Like, he was like, I was bad. And I wonder if he's just like, God damn it. Like, if I would have gotten my shit together, we wouldn't have gotten divorced. I would still be in that house. We could have the dogs together, like all that stuff. Like, I bet he's like,
Yes, I agree. What did you think about getting a little glimpse into his sort of blissful state with Sophie? Is that his new girlfriend? Did you get
on the Vile Files?
Yeah, did you get a little glimpse of that?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, he was acting like fucking Joaquin Phoenix. I'm Not There press tour.
Oh, that's a great analogy for that. It was exactly like that.
Yeah.
It was like, no, it wasn't. I was gonna say it was Weekend at Bernie's, but he was.
The lights just turned red. Joaquin Phoenix.
Whenever, no, you're right. He was almost too chill to function because they caught him on a Coachella, like
bonkers.
Yeah, but he was like professing his love.
He was, his toes were very prominently featured in the camera.
Yeah, it felt a little honeymoon stage to me, where you know what I mean, where it was like, this is the pure bliss, and I've never felt anything like this, and this will never end.
Right.
And we love each other more than anything.
Yeah. I think most people's take is that she's so young and that it's gross and whatever, which I won't disagree with. Like, it's a little bit like, all right, like you've entered your 40s and now you have a 23-year-old girlfriend, but she doesn't seem like an idiot. She seems... Apparently she's like a marketing manager at The Strategist, which I'm like, that's a good job. Like, I think she has a brain. I think if anything, she's like, he's like a hot guy on one of the biggest reality shows. I'm along for this ride. And like, we're like fucking.
Yeah. She wants to fuck. And,
so I'm going to give her credit that she knows what's going on.
What is The Strategist? That's a online
New York.
Oh yeah.
Mag.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She works for that. Yeah. She seemed like smart and fun, and I didn't sense any like red flags. Like I get a sense of someone if they're a flop or if they're embarrassing pretty quickly, and I didn't have any of those moments with her.
Yeah, she was like fine. Like I wasn't like you know. So I wasn't left particularly worried. I
wasn't worried either.
But he still wouldn't like say that they were together even while being on the podcast.
But he
together.
seemed absolutely like cartoon eyes smitten.
Yeah.
Like,
and they said I love you on the air.
Yeah. I that's why I was like, this is a little bit of that dreamy vibe. Bliss. Right.
Yeah.
You know, new love bliss. That's what I thought.
Sure.
I want to see him. It'll be interesting to see him like if they film this summer. That will be a fun time to have.
Because I think and then Sandoval has that other girlfriend, which I don't know what her deal is.
Victoria.
But, I have no idea what kind of person she is.
I think she's nice. I saw her at the premiere party, Vanderpump premiere, whatever it was called, season 11, and she seemed like a nice person. Like I said, I can sense when somebody is a piece of shit or sucks. And I got a good sense from her. Her aura was like light blue and good. I really think so.
Okay.
But she needs to acknowledge, for me as a Vanderpump Rules fan, she'll need to acknowledge how she was able to overcome the horrific stigma of knowing what your new boyfriend did to their ex. Right. I have to hear that rationale before I can fully judge.
Yeah.
Now are we at that?
Yeah, the Toms are back together in their vintage convertible, which they, to my knowledge, didn't explain.
It's Schwartz's new car. And in the after show.
Did he say that?
Yeah, in the after show. I go, where the hell did this car come from? I would never associate Schwartz with a convertible, Ford convertible. I was like, what's happening? Did he rent a car? But no, it's Schwartz's new car. And they say in the after show, they're like, what are the signs of a midlife crisis? And they go, young girlfriend, new convertible or whatever. And like, he is checking those boxes.
I mean, to me, even though it was so dorky what they were doing, I will say if I had disposable income, which he shouldn't and doesn't, but I would way rather buy a fun car like that, like a vintage car, than like a new car.
Oh yeah, I would get like a Mazda Miata in a second. Have you ever seen one of those?
Oh yeah,
They're
toot toot.
Toot toot. Those things are so cool. Like what's it called? Like a convertible for the common person.
Yeah,
like
petite
little I was fine with the car. I was like, cool. I didn't. Schwartz is definitely surprising me of what his vibe is. Dyeing his hair to get out the grays. I would have never thought he'd do that. I would never think he's a convertible guy. I wouldn't have thought he's a dating 24-year-old person either.
Right.
He is doing a lot of un-Schwartz like things to me now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of being a little shocked by him, but I wasn't mad. I think it's a cool car.
Right. So he picks up Sandoval, who jumps over the door of the car which is like, of course he did that.
Yeah, I thought this was a little lame.
Lame
The whole thing, the music was lame. They were bobbing their heads to one of those
fake songs,
which whatever they were listening to, that probably would have been cooler.
Yeah.
It also was giving me the scene where they were like getting hyped up to go. They were like listening to Eminem to go talk to Lisa before they did their pitch for Sangria. It was like, it reminded me of Better Times when I didn't dislike Sandoval.
Right. I
so
know,
much.
Dumb and Dumber.
And it was a little, I couldn't tell if the editors wanted us to think they looked cool or if they wanted us to think that this is kind of lame and this is a shady edit of them.
Right.
What did you, I thought it was giving cool.
Right. Yeah. It didn't seem completely, there was no like, usually there would be maybe a more like ham-fisted note to the viewer, like something that would like a record scratch.
You would have had a sad
like
whistle or something. Or like the song would have been lamer.
Right.
It was kind of like, I think they were trying to say like these
the
are
boys are back.
These two, and I was like, Sandoval, I was like, why are you in a good mood?
Right.
Last episode is so inconsistent. Last episode you were crying about Rachel. You just finally fully found out that Rachel hates your guts.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I jump in cars.
Right. It was odd. I was happy to see though that the tattoo that Schwartz was getting was Gordo and Butters.
I like that too. That was a good reveal. That is the only tattoo I would ever get.
Yeah.
That's the tattoo I get. So I was so proud of him.
Yeah. I also liked that he had, when he was at Mel's with Katie, he revealed that he was going to get the tattoo and he was like, you can come if you want. He like can't not include people.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, you're going with Sandoval. Why the fuck would she want to go?
Right. No, of course. Yeah, she has to probably just say no to like 1,000 events.
Joe is like, I want to go to the speed dating night. And he's like, okay.
Right.
Like, just be like, no.
Right, totally. I was sad that our prediction that they weren't getting their ass tattoos ripped off wasn't real.
Yeah.
I totally thought that was the only thing
the obvious choice.
Like, I mean, did we know, does Sandoval ever get his thing starting to get lasered?
I remember him going once, but I remember him giving up.
Oh, so it's probably still faded. No, he just said, I just remembered. He just said in the pool, when he was having the pool party of all of his potential singles that he was going to date at Ariana's house.
He said at the speed dating.
Yeah, he said, I still have.
But I want to see it. Show us.
Did you think in the next episode if he just pulls pants down,
like he did at the UCB in season 4?
Yeah, he should tell us. But
show us your ass.
Show us your ass. I thought it was a missed opportunity. Sandoval, I think. Well, I don't know. People would maybe.
He ate shit on his ass.
He was talking about the roommate situation. He goes, I figured out how we can have the perfect house together. He goes, I've got a soda stream and a beer tap. So you're going to love to live with me. And then he fell on his ass.
That was real.
They never show fall. Well, they show some falls, but that was a bad fall.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
And then Schwartz said, that's karma for even thinking about me living with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Even though he was excited about the soda gun, which I would be too.
Yeah. The tattoos we already said, but they were very cool. Mm-hmm. Whoever the artist was that he commissioned, those are good. That was good artwork of those two dogs.
They were cute.
I love that.
And then this is the first time they tee up. Well, yeah, I think this was the first time. But multiple times in this episode, they are letting us know they are going to San Francisco.
Yes.
Which I'm like, is that already going to be next week? Or like, isn't that the finale?
I think that this was a 16 episode season. I don't know what episode we're on. Are we on
I think it was
13?
13.
I think they're going to stretch this to a 3-parter. It's gonna start with them. It's gonna end the episode with them getting to San Francisco, and there's gonna be 2 parts in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure this has the hallmarks of a 16 episode season. I mean, if anyone can do it, they can stretch out. They made Lake Tahoe almost 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So, it's not good that it was a 16 episode season, I don't think. I think that's usually that's when a season is kind of fizzling, in my opinion, if I know Bravo episode stats. But yeah, Kyle Chan is having a kind of a major whiskey party. That's what Sandoval says. He goes, it's on an island.
Yeah.
Alcatraz.
That I would like to see. Lock up Sandoval.
Really? You think you should go? Oh, right. We've already said this. He should go to prison for what he did.
Worse than a killer.
Oh, right. He kind of says that a little bit. He goes, I didn't murder anyone. And everyone was like, yeah, I know. But I do think it's interesting that Kyle Chan's going to deck out Alcatraz for this event.
The Rock.
Have you ever seen, I don't want to like do a tangent because that would like kind of derail us, but have you ever seen Escape from Alcatraz?
With Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
I think I have.
Okay.
Does he have a knife in his mouth on the poster?
Ooh, a knife in his mouth. I gotta check that. I gotta look at the poster again. But I just watched it because it's in that cinema speculation book where Quentin Tarantino said, "I thought this was just some mid garbage that I didn't need to watch again." And he said, "The more I watch it, the more I realize what a masterpiece it is." And I watched it. It's fun
because I think he carves the cell with a knife.
He does,
right?
He does all the coolest escape from prison shit you've ever seen. It's like Shawshank.
I think maybe I did watch it because of that book.
It's
too.
It's the prototype for Shawshank. Every convention of escaping from prison happens in Escape from Alcatraz, except it's Clint instead of Tim Robbins.
It's a real physical feat, if I recall. It's amazing how
do you
he gets
think?
Out of there.
Do you think when this episode comes out, when we get locked up in Alcatraz, we could get out?
Maybe. Sometimes I think about that kind of thing. Do you ever try and like if you drop something behind somewhere where you have to like stick your hand in and you try and pick it up and you're like, what if my life depended on like me getting this key or whatever?
Oh, I do think about that. Whenever I'm shitty and I always do something wrong, I do think, what if my life depended on it? Would I have just died in this scenario?
Yeah.
I do think that. I think the thing to do if you get locked up in prison is put a knife or a pin up your ass when you're going through the way station.
Yeah.
And make sure that no one does anything. Just bring in whatever you can on your physical body.
Or do a full escape at Dannemora and like start
I've never
a
seen that.
long con romance with one of the guards.
That's a good way to get out.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get out because
Sandoval would be good at that. He could manipulate a woman into giving him the key.
that is so Sandoval flirting with the warden.
Yeah.
Is it the warden? Is it the wardens that let him out?
I think she was a warden. Or something. I don't know.
No. It's usually you're right. I forgot about that strategy. That's probably our best bet if they ever lock us up in the same prison. But yeah, we flirt with the guard, and then we say, when you get out of here, if we get out, we have a gold mine, similar to like a Scrooge McDuck with a bunch of gold coins. You're
gonna be with us.
All right. So we're at the tattoo scene. That was okay. That we got everything.
Yeah, it was whatever. And then there's the
James and Allie was also whatever.
It was whatever, just except that it introduced that he is supposed to accompany her to her best friend's wedding in Ohio.
Yeah.
But as luck would have it,
right.
Their sitter is unavailable, so he does not want to leave the dog.
Yes.
Which I partially understand because it has been shown to us that the dog was almost euthanized for being violent.
Yes. Okay.
So
yeah,
I am a little bit like, yeah, you should be fucking concerned.
I'm fully on James's side, and I will barely even see the alternate side, Andy Cohen's side or Katie's side. This dog has been there a month.
Yeah.
They just had to rehabilitate him with the cat situation. There's no one that can come into James's home and properly do that except his brother. Right. And he's not ready to send Hippie off to Vanderpump Dogs.
Right.
Or any one of those away, what are
Sure.
those they're not called shelters, but whatever.
Yeah.
I fully get this.
Yeah.
I think that Allie should understand. I think that
Yeah.
the cast should understand. And he shouldn't have had to cry about it to make his case later that this is what he wants.
I will say, though, is it was always a little hard to understand the truth of the matter on how him taking the dog back was introduced to Allie, because I do agree with the sense that it seems as though it was thrust upon her without her opinion when she already had pets. And I do agree that getting a dog, especially one with like massive behavioral issues,
Yes.
is a really big life change. And it doesn't seem like she got too much time, if any, to decide.
I agree. I accept that reality fully. This was sprung upon Allie. She never thought this was her reality. It's only because James's previous relationship of co-owning a dog that this ever happened. I get that. But a month in, I think Allie should be a little more, and I almost think she is. I don't think this is a huge sticking. It's more of a sticking point with the cast and Lala for some reason than it even is for Allie. But I think that she should understand, like, why now he would, like,
if anything, I would say the only compromise I can imagine, because I'm like always trying to come up with a solution, is that like he would go literally for like the duration of the wedding and like fly back.
Yeah, no, I would think of that compromise too, totally. But I understood exactly why he didn't want to go, and I thought it was weird for Katie and Lala to like get all fired up about this. It's like, you guys are struggling for a storyline like that. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that abnormal. Like when I had an elderly cat, we like never went, and I know you were the same with your dog. Like, it's like, you're like, I'll just be fucking worried the whole time anyways.
It affected my life forever. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yeah. I loved every moment of being, with my dog during that time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
So
I felt bad for him, actually.
I get this. And then he goes, when they're like, the sleeping arrangement's not going to work. She's like, I sleep in the guest room with the cats. We don't want this to be 5 years and we sleep in different rooms. And James goes, they're never going to be able to cuddle. We just have to accept that. And then I think you sent me, or someone sent me, Allie showed a photo with Banks and
their
Hippie.
tails touching.
Yeah, I was like, damn, they got to cuddle territory.
I felt like they weren't aware that they were touching, but
that's
better than
it's
nothing.
Progress. I mean, we had the same thing happen in my household with Archie and George, and I was like, even though George didn't really understand why it was happening or who was near him, it was sweet. It's such a win.
I'll take it.
So it's this doesn't even need to be talked about. I'm fully on James's side. Yeah. I think it was weird. Lala, like, we'll get to it, but Lala, like, I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. And Katie was like, for some reason, the one to bring it up. I was like, what the fuck do you care?
Allie was talking to me, and there's this huge deal going on in this household with Hippie. It's like, what?
And then it looked like a producer shoved James into the room, and he was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you made James cry. I don't like to see James cry about his love of Hippie. And you made him feel bad.
For him, it's so clearly like the way that I felt this way when he cried about Graham, formerly Graham, back when he got injured under Rachel's care, and he cried about it that time. It's so clearly like intertwined with his like broken inner child.
Yes.
That it's just like, okay, like he needs to work on that. Like, it's a sensitive area, but like, let him have it. Like, it was like a sad, abandoned, like, child of alcoholics, and like little innocent puppies like make him feel like safe and like a good like soul connection. So like, let him just enjoy being a dog dad.
Totally. I fully agree. I had all those same thoughts, but like you said, I do think that Hippie, if Hippie is symbolic of something deeper, which we have seen glimpses of that in James, that is something that, if he's not seeking therapy for, I mean, it would be good to get to the bottom of what that hole is that you're trying to fill with these connections. But I just read this one as a very realistic thing, practical thing to do with Hippie.
Yeah.
Sir Brunch?
Sir Brunch. Everybody's there. We get more and more of these scenes where just everybody goes.
Everybody wanted to see Jax DJ his ass off at Sir. Lisa's sitting down, and this is what you said, where she goes, why the hell?
To Guillermo.
Guillermo, what the hell happened off my watch when I was, not looking at the calendar?
I didn't see this on the books.
She's like, how did this flyer get created where Jax is photoshopped and it says Sir Brunch, she goes, how did this slip by me? Guillermo goes, I don't know. It slipped by me too. Who the hell is running this thing?
Well, it's like when, remember the original See You Next Tuesday? James is like, I already printed up all the flyers. And she's like, oh, great. Like,
you
come
did?
on.
Damn it. Did Natalie do this? Is this Natalie's
Yeah,
work?
what the hell?
Or Peter, like we said.
Yeah. And James pops. Well, James is already there, right?
James pops his little
And
head
then-
in, and he goes, Guillermo, thanks for letting Jax. Thanks for letting Jax. Remember all those emails we sent? Thanks for letting Jax host his brunch with me. And Lisa goes, you knew? And he goes, yeah, it's great. It's at capacity. We love that.
Like it's popping off. Then Jax comes. We get the full thing of him walking up outside, walking through the restaurant.
Yes.
And Lisa like will not let him live.
No, she goes, so first she says, she sets the scene where she goes, I can't believe Jax is coming here. Basically like the, well, not the cat that ate the canary, but he is coming here after publicly disrespecting me on a podcast. And then they play a full clip from this podcast, The Toast, where Jax goes, she's a prop. They go, why? Why the hell do you think Lisa's even on this show anymore? And he goes, Lisa's a fucking prop. And so it's interesting to me that Lisa has heard all of the shitty things that Jax has said about her during this 3-year frigid period in their relationship.
Yeah. She is already so pissed off. He goes, can I sit down? And she goes, if you have to.
Yes.
And he's like, what do you want me to stand?
Yeah, and then he sits, I think, right, he sits again, right?
And she's like, I don't want you to be here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And she says what he said on the podcast. She goes, you called me a prop. You said, she's like, I know what you said. You said I was superfluous. And he goes, I don't know what that means. Which, did we confirm? He didn't say that.
No, he
but
said
he said something to that.
Yes,
definition.
he said prop, and she said she's basically inessential. She said that was a synonym. I think she made him sound better by he used the word superfluous, but she already had said the 3 words that made more sense to him that he knows he said before that. So he's sort of getting off on a technicality by debating whether or not he said superfluous.
Right.
He goes, I don't even know what the hell that word means. How do you spell it? He goes, with a P or an F?
Superfluous or...
And he goes, I've never even heard that word before. James has to look it up. Lisa goes, kill me now, God, that they're looking up what superfluous means.
Yeah. And so this is where he's saying, you wrote me off. You never checked in with me and Brittany when she was pregnant or when we had cruise. They talked about this on the after shows too. And they said that, they implied that Lisa only sent them a gift after he had said publicly that she hadn't.
Yes. Yeah, I've been thinking about this sort of Lisa and Jax relationship timeline. And to me, I always thought, I was a skeptical person. I thought, or skeptical of Lisa. I thought the minute that Jax was off the show, he was out of sight, out of mind. And she never truly enjoyed Jax and Brittany's company as a social person, except that they were, a ratings goldmine for Vanderpump Rules for a long time. So when they were off the show, I was like, Lisa doesn't really care about you that much.
Yeah.
But in reality, when I think about it in terms of season 8 and when he left the show, sort of on very bad terms, Cruz was born after that, after this public rift and the start of the feud. So I sort of think that Lisa is within her rights to sort of treat them coldly for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sort of adds a little clarity to where Lisa's mental state was during this thing. And then, she did give a gift, and it sounds like she did reach out at one point. Like she said, thank you so much. I miss you guys. But she just never made it fully work. And I think obviously Jax and Brittany cares so much more about Lisa than she does about them.
Brittany was saying that she reached out after Lisa fell off her horse and broke her leg or whatever. And that Lisa was like, thank you so much. Like, I miss you guys, whatever. But when Jax told the story, he was like, when Ken fell off a horse or something.
He goes, I don't remember. He goes, Ken was on a donkey or something. He fell face first off of it. I love that he didn't even remember what specific accident. But it sounds like Lisa said, thank you. I miss you.
Sure.
Let's hang out again sometimes. I'm just saying,
but Brittany did say that they don't get invited to Pandy's son's birthdays, where I think all the other Vanderpump children do.
All the other Wonderful. Yeah, that's sad. Cruz should not be left out. But I will say, I think Jax does not properly articulate what he has done in this mess. Because Katie has a similar story. Brittany, I'm sorry, but you're an innocent bystander in my feud with Jax because your husband fucking sucks and he treats me like an asshole all the time.
Yeah.
Jax doesn't remember all the moments that he's aggrieved someone, so Brittany gets the blowback.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what's going on with this Lisa thing too. I'm sure
Right.
Jax said even worse stuff that we'll never know about.
Right. Well, we got in the after show something that really sparked joy for me. He doubled down and said again that Lisa, when she was having issues on Beverly Hills Housewives, that she pulled Jax aside and cried to him and said, "You're the only one I can talk to. Please,
Lisa,
can I please vent about my
Jax,
Beverly Hills?
I can't talk to Ariana about this. I can't talk to Stassi about this.
Ken or Andy Cohen.
You're the only one who knows. Kyle Richards is treating me like absolute shit. Teddy Mellencamp is saying that Lucy Juicy Apple Goosey was
Can I please have your ear?
Please, Jack. I love that. I don't know what Lisa said to Jax one time when she probably said offhandedly, "Jax, yeah, I'm having a little bit of a mess on my show, Housewives. You're used to that."
Yeah.
And he thought it was like full confiding.
But he said,
cry.
He said it the exact same way. So his lies generally, I think because they're real in his mind, they generally stay consistent. I think at least with that one and the wedding story, the Stassi's wedding, he told the exact same way as he did before.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no. I don't. I felt that. Well, no. Okay. There's lies of omission.
Right.
There's lies of omission. The Stassi and Beau wedding story, I heard even more confusing details when he started to explain. And everyone says he was secretly texting other people saying, "I've got a huge golf championship that weekend." So it's like, he's not telling the full story.
No, he's not. But his version is the same.
Right. Okay. So
he says, our son's passport didn't come in time. Brittany's mom was going to come, but then her best friend's husband died. So then we couldn't go.
But then Brittany had to do damage control. But I think that Jax exaggerates. Who's the classic literary figure that lies? Not the boy who cried wolf. The one who embellishes. Pinocchio. That's what I was thinking. Pinocchio. The little what is he? He's a little puppet boy.
Wooden boy.
Every time he tells a lie, it sprouts upon a nose on his face. So I think that no, but I'm just saying that Jax is an embellisher. And even if there's a kernel of truth in there, he's telling it. It's like a game of telephone with himself where he forgets even where it was. So I swear, I bet Lisa said an offhanded thing one time. There was no crying. There was no come to Villa Rosa so I could talk about this with you.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's good. And then I gotta give it to Jax. After he tries to get off on the superfluous technicality, he does say, "Regardless of the shit I'm saying to you, I'm sorry." And Lisa goes, like, you see Lisa's defense start to melt a little bit as he just goes to her heart to heart and says, "I'm sorry for what I said," which I thought was sweet. It sounded real and genuine. Yeah,
he says that, he's like, I love you, and can I give you a hug? And she's like, "Oh Lord," because she doesn't even like getting hugs anyways.
No, she didn't like getting hugged, but he says, "Whatever you think of me, I don't care. I love you." And Lisa goes, "I do care a little bit," and then they hug, and then she goes, "I kind of love you too, even though you're fucking annoying." I was like, that is totally Lisa and Jax's relationship. Yeah. He annoys her, he pisses her off, but he has some sort of lovable, charming energy where he gets back in her good graces. I loved this scene, and I also like that Lisa, I feel like she was slightly taken aback when Jax pulled up a chair. Like, she didn't seem fully, I think, ready for that conversation. At least that's the sense that I got. Yeah. So I do feel like they made headway there with that conversation, real headway. Mm-hmm. So I like that. I think
so. Also, on the after show, he says that he helped create a masterpiece with Vanderpump Rules.
I love that. He goes, "I feel in some way that I gave my blood and my soul to this show, and I feel like I helped create a masterpiece." He goes, "That's what I call it. I call this show a masterpiece."
Even though, like, on that rant he did a few weeks ago, he was like, "It's trash. It's fake."
I cannot even tell you how much joy Jax is giving me. Like, that rant with this scene, plus what he did on the Valley with Zion hair loss cream. I'm just like, you're giving so much. I can't believe the cameras were off you for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, it is amazing what he's giving to us.
I just can't believe. I know we say it like almost every single week, but like every
Oh.
single time they talk about the
Oh.
Stassi wedding
Oh, I
thing, I'm
can't
like,
even.
it's such a massive point of drama that comes up constantly amongst
It's-
all of them.
It's the Scandival of the Valley. It
Yeah.
could have been the thing that started the Valley.
Like,
it could have been.
Katie's not friends with them because of that.
It could have been the inciting incident that spawned half of them to go on the Valley and then left the other ones in the dust.
Yeah.
It's like a feud that is still ongoing, that is still being picked apart.
They have to explain it constantly.
Stassi still hates Jax from it. Katie still ruined her relationship with Brittany. And it would have been a beautiful showcase. Despite all the drama that it would have created, it would have been amazing to see them all in Italy if
know.
they could have gotten it together.
I know. Plus, just like all the fun that comes with a wedding special.
If it was filmed,
yeah,
Jax and
Would have gone.
Brittany would have been.
They would have been like, Cruz, we're going to put you in the playpen and you're going to fend for yourself.
Mima's coming over. And they would have just been basically, what's it called when you just leave behind dust after you run? You would have been on the
Yeah.
on the airplane
Pew.
there. They would have done the pew sound as they went by. So you said it, and we should just definitively say it. Bravo, you made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Not having Stassi's wedding on camera.
Well, at first I thought naively that when he was explaining why they didn't go, Sandoval started to say, like,
It was 10
he's like
grand.
exasperated, and I thought he was gonna go, it's because you canceled so last minute or like whatever, and he was like, no, he was like, that was so expensive, you guys just had a kid, and it's like they canceled like the day of.
Sandoval can justify anything that anyone does if it's on the opposing side of someone he hates. That's
Right.
his entire run of Vanderpump Rules.
Right.
It was 10 grand and you just got fired from the show. It's like he just heard all the shit that Schwartz said. Schwartz said, like, yeah, you canceled last minute.
Yeah.
You were talking shit about the wedding
Yeah.
to other people. Like,
Yeah. And Jax did the classic. He was like, did I go about it the wrong way? 100%.
yeah.
Like he always like
he-
takes a little bit of accountability.
He goes, did I handle things wrong? Absolutely. It's like, wow, what an
It's like,
acknowledgement.
okay.
You-
And then he says about Katie not talking to them still because of that. Well, first he was like, you're so far up Stassi's ass or whatever.
Yeah.
But he goes, is that worth losing a friendship over? I don't think so. And then Katie's like, when Schwartz accidentally revealed Cruz's name, they stopped talking to me too.
Yeah. Jax iced out Schwartz for months because he accidentally blasted out the name Cruz before they publicly
Which like
announced
4 other Bravo celebrities have named their kid by
it.
now.
That was a wild new bit of canon
Yeah.
that I learned. That Katie was like, you did this exact same shit to me, so what the hell are you talking about? Also, I was kind of shocked that Brittany only tried to reach out to Katie once. How's the move going? And then
Right.
when she got no response once, she just ended trying to talk to Katie. You got to give one more.
I guess, but if you get the vibe that someone really doesn't want to fuck with you, then like, why are you going to be like, please?
I give them please ... 2 months later. No, I'm just saying if you know that your husband is a tornado of hate and
Sure.
it talks shit to everyone, you never know what the hell he's saying. You gotta go in a little more. Give the
Her
extra.
and Lala agreed that Katie is intimidating,
Yeah.
which I buy.
Yeah, I didn't buy fully. Katie was like, you only texted me once or whatever, but I just do think if Brittany truly cared, she could have said one more during the whole
I just
divorce
think
thing.
Katie doesn't give a fuck, and she's like, I hate your husband, and ultimately, like, I'm not like so desperate to be your friend that I'm willing to be friends with you while you're married to him.
I learned that I would want Brittany as a friend.
Mm.
If I was
She
Katie,
seems like a good friend.
if I was Katie, that's what I was saying with Scheana. If I was Katie, I'd be like, I could take Brittany. Like,
Yeah.
why not? Brittany seems low maintenance as a friend. Seems like she's just a positive force. She just likes to chug tequila and have fun.
Sure.
And, sorry.
Okay, so the main thing is
Jax
that
comes over to the group, right?
yes, and he wants to spill the tea that he heard the lower third was like 4 minutes ago. Schwartz telling him that Sandoval's trying to get him to move in, and he goes, "Don't tell anyone." And he's like, "Of course."
Yeah.
And then immediately walks over to the girls. Is like, "Ariana, did you hear who's moving in?"
And they he tells the full table that Schwartz is thinking about it, but I think that if I'm being a little bit of a stinker about this. I don't think Schwartz ever actively considered this, and they're making a mountain out of a molehill for a storyline by him talking about it with everyone. He's like, would you hypothetically be mad? What would you hypothetically think if I did this? It's like, you're not doing it, and you don't want to do it. And you already said last episode.
That's why Ariana like really didn't care, because she was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think you need to talk about this. Like, you need to explore what the potential of this would be if you're never going to consider it, unless you're just starving for a storyline.
Right. So then James is like, everybody come to my house after this. We're going to go swimming. Everyone's invited, including Tom.
I do want to give a shout out to Lala. Did you like Lala's impression when she did Sandoval's thought? She did an impression of, what's that called? Thought process of doing, of inviting Schwartz. And it was so funny to me that Lala did that impression for 15 full seconds while everybody waited for her to get done. Like, that was like,
it was funny.
Extreme humor. I was like, they're not normally this, like, that was a funny moment. Her impression was so funny. And the fact that they had to wait and she committed fully to it. I don't want to do it because mine would border on offensive, but hers was like perfect. And like, they were laughing. Jax was cracking up at Lala. I have to give a shout out. That was like worth like Lala's whole season for me. It was so funny.
It was good. So yeah, they all make their way to Burbank.
Yes.
This is where we can skip over. Katie brings up the hippie thing.
Thank God
we already talked about
Thank God we talked about it. Jax, we already talked about this too, but he's a little manic. No offense. He's a little bit,
woo!
He's a little bit like Animal House. Where's a lampshade I can put on my head and a toga?
Yeah, he's wearing like sunglasses at night.
He's so happy. He would never admit it.
Yeah, he's like, we got a babysitter.
He is like I'll say it, the cat that finally caught the canary. He would never let his pride tell him this, but he missed being on Vanderpump Rules so much, and he missed being a part of a scene. Yeah. And he's still... He is a little bit of a flop on this episode. I was like, you're a little too turned up, but he's so good on the Valley still. He still has the full reality TV star persona. Like, he's still so good in scenes.
Yeah. So it comes up that Jax isn't happy with Katie about the rumors or whatever, and they, end up face to face.
Yeah, Jax screams at her a little bit. He says, why would you bring up those rumors? She says, I don't like you. And he goes, well, I don't like you either, but why don't you ever talk to Brittany? Right. And Katie goes,
she said, what you on about?
Yeah, I like that. It was a little bit of like James kind of inhabited her. She goes, what are you on about? And then he didn't speak in a British accent back, but he was just like, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
And then like you said,
in her interview, she calls him a disgusting pig.
Yeah, she really. I mean, I get, I get why Katie absolutely hates Jax.
Sure,
I don't feel the same way, but he's done enough to her.
Him and Sandoval.
Yeah.
Like, whenever people are like, why don't you want to mend your friendship with them? She's like, why the fuck would I care?
No, seriously.
Like, who? For what?
No, and I understand now. Watching Sandoval in this episode, we kind of haven't been talking about him that much, but watching Sandoval in this episode, I was like, yeah, I get why Katie never needs to ever speak to this person again. He looks like a literal just garbage can walking around to her, and I understand.
Yeah. So then Schwartz pulls Ariana aside, and she's receptive. She's nice to him, which is surprising, actually.
Really, really, actually very sweet. It was like we almost missed a scene. Like, she was really kind of like beaming at Schwartz and being like, I was like, oh, this is like over.
But I was like, what changed? Because I feel like earlier, maybe it was because Sandoval was there at Sir, but I feel like she didn't give him the time of day at Sir.
I think, first of all, Schwartz's charm won her over. He's got blonde hair now. You can't stay mad at Schwartz, just like the world can't stay mad at him. And I think that, I don't know, she was just ready to have that, because I think it was endearing that Schwartz brought her over and wanted to ask hypothetically what she would think when she had already heard about it. And they had this sort of playful silliness of knowing that Jax had spoiled the secret. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like, Jax told me earlier. And this is where he reveals, he's like, if he refinances, it's going to be a massive, like, loan and difference in mortgage or whatever. And she goes, yeah, it must be crazy. And he goes, 22,000. She's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Now, what did that mean? 22,000 to like that you'd have to put down?
I think he meant like a month.
No. 22,000 for the mortgage?
Yeah.
Our little turtle house cuties can tell us what that means. But I was like, I mean, yeah. Could you imagine if Schwartz was more like open to this idea and he let them go mutually in on a house and refinance their mortgage together and use?
So dumb.
I mean, but I'm almost surprised. I mean, it's like they probably could have been close to that decision.
I'm
The
just
producers wanted it.
Yeah. I'm just like, Sandoval really should have thought twice about dipping his wick with Rachel when he had a 2020 mortgage rate.
If he would have seen the future and known that mortgage rates were going to go up to whatever they are now. I don't look at mortgage rates. They make me too sad. I'll never own a home in my life. But 8% or you think he would have been like, ooh, what the hell? I don't want to. I don't think I should.
I'm going to stay lonely.
Yeah, man, you're probably right. I mean, that just goes to show you what the mortgage rates are like. Then Sandoval arrives. He hadn't been here this whole time. And he arrives with Kyle Chan.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
I was kind of like...
Kyle Chan is always with us.
I was like, no offense to Kyle Chan. I really like him. And I do want him to be the first interviewee when you and I interview someone. Could you imagine Kyle Chan is sitting right here? I do, but I did. When Sandoval had to show up, I'm like, do you always need your one of your entourage, the Sandoval sympathizers, with you to every scene? It kind of this started to wear on me. Maybe I'm just getting tired of Sandoval overall, but I was like, you had to bring Kyle Chan.
He always has Kyle Chan, and he always has his little bowling bag.
Which I'm like, I didn't see that.
I'm like, men can use a bag, a satchel, whatever. No. I don't give a fuck. But there's just something about anything Sandoval does that's like that, including like nail polish or like anything. Like, I'm just like, it specifically bugs me on you.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see that bag. I just chalked it up
like a little leather bag. I think he brought it to like the tattoo shop. He just like always has a little purse. And I'm like, what's in there?
I have a little bag.
I know, but
I know they're cool. No, I wasn't saying I wasn't
utilitarian. Like, I don't give a fuck if I'm not being like,
he's extra.
Yes.
He would have been the guy at Disney World that buys the Dr. Seuss hat. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's right.
Like the stovepipe one.
Yeah, that's at Universal Studios. But
yeah,
I'm
you're
saying
mixing up your IP.
Topsy-turvy. He's extra.
It's too much.
Right. But I was just like Sandoval, come on, just go to a party and be the lone.
Be cool. Don't be all like uncool.
Just be cool, dude. For once in your life, he could not be cool in this episode.
No.
He couldn't be cool if he tried. And Kyle's very cool, but he's not helping your case when you arrive to a party. Kyle probably wasn't even invited. No offense.
Yeah.
I just wish that he could have done it on his own. And then he's still like, he is such a petulant little kid. This entire episode, in this scene specifically.
Yeah. So immediately, like Scheana and Brock are getting into it because she's like, all right, it's 9:00. It's time to go home. And he's like, we have a sitter. Can we please use the sitter and stay?
Brock is chilling to a degree to where not a lot of humans can get to. He was in his bathing suit.
Yeah,
he's
floating.
He's probably drunk as a skunk, and he didn't want to leave. And I think Scheana almost said, I could go. You could still party.
That's going to be the gold of them moving to the Valley, because right now it's like, you're not going to go separately to Marina Del Rey from Burbank. Like,
but I think she gave him that option. He could have spun around in that float.
But that would have been a little more like, she could potentially be pissed about that. Whereas if they live in Sherman Oaks, it's like, I'm going home in 5 minutes.
Totally. That is the benefit of the Valley. But I will say, in Sheena's defense, I think she gave him stay in your float vibes if you wanted to. And then Scheana goes, no, if I could put my kid to bed at a time, I want to go do it. I don't want to miss these moments of reading a book to her. And then she kind of turns her head and someone, I forget who, says, like, what are you guys fighting about? And Scheana goes, bedtime. We're fighting about bedtime. And then Brock starts screaming from the float. He goes, we're fighting because, what does he say? Because you won't let the nanny put our kid to bed when she totally could. And everybody's like, whoa, like male yelling is happening.
Like Ariana and Schwartz look over.
And Jax had already yelled earlier. And then now Brock is yelling.
Yeah. Yep. And then soon Sandoval will be yelling.
Sandoval wants a little piece of the yelling.
Yeah.
I forget what he says. Oh, Scheana goes, they're talking about the Kyle Chan whiskey party. They're like, how do we, like, they're like, do they make it easy to go into Alcatraz? It's like, yeah, it's a tour boat that we take or whatever. It's like, it's going to be fine. I'm going to sing 2 songs, Scheana says, Apples and Good as Gold. And she goes, did you happen to hear Apples? And Sandoval goes, yeah. He goes, you know what? I think what is it? It's not as bad as I thought, but it's still bad. And it's more about the principle of you making fun of my misery. You're making this all about you. Right. Like, you're the most active victim in this. And then Scheana, they get fired up a little bit because it reactivates all that thing, right? Because Sheena's like, I was a victim in this. There was a restraining order. Right. And Tom so resents that Scheana and Lala capitalized on Scandival even more than Ariana did. And even more than he did. He made nothing from it. Yeah.
You can also tell that he was trying not to say, you did punch Rachel. Like, that's what he wanted to say. Which he kind of almost did.
Yeah, well, she goes, you said the unthinkable, unspeakable at the reunion, which you never should have said. And then, yeah, you're right. He keeps his tongue tied or whatever, bites his tongue, not saying you actually did that, that was good. Scheana should appreciate that he didn't try to introduce those allegations.
Right. So, yeah, she's talking about all that and like going over that what he did has made her lose her mind about whether or not Brock is being unfaithful, which is something she had never thought before, because she didn't think that anyone would do something like that.
And then Sandoval goes, why the hell is that my problem? And then James goes, I think the same thing now too. You're not alone in that, Scheana. I'm like, Sandoval, if you have 2 people that just have to reassess the relationships in their life, that like someone could fuck them over like that they love because you tarnished their rose-colored glasses about the significant other, you have to accept that that's true. Yeah. You like, why does he constantly need to get, we've talked about this so many times, why does he need a point on the Scandival scoreboard?
And he pulls from the lowest of the low.
Yes.
For his zinger. He goes, you were literally the other woman in a relationship. And she's I was like, no, you fucking didn't.
He like pushed the red button. Like Lala goes, fuck no. Like everyone rallies around. Scheana goes, fuck you, Tom. Yeah. Fuck off, Tom. Yeah. I was 20 years old. That was 2006. Yeah. It's awesome. I was like, Sheena's rage is so good right now. I loved it. Brock goes, bro. He goes, come on, bro. He goes, you're 40 years old. She was 20. It's like, there's a difference here.
Yeah.
It wasn't a best friend.
She was like a 20-year-old girl who was lied to by a married man. And it's like, I'm like, you're the married man. Like, you're the bad one.
Also, like, I mean, haven't you already said this? Yeah. You didn't already bring this up? This is like one of the 3 points you have.
Yeah, it was so whack. And I was just like, dude, why the fuck? Like, he's so dumb. Yeah. That when he does the calculations on like the way something's gonna hit, he's always fucking wrong.
He's this is so mean. I would never like, I honestly, this is mean. I don't even want to barely say it.
Hit it.
Tom Sandoval is not as he's not as intelligent as I thought. At least how okay, I'll caveat that. How he's handling how he's handling Scandival is the exact opposite of, I think, most people in the world. Mm-hmm. Everything he did is wrong, and we've already said this. Yeah. Everything he did was the wrong path towards redemption. And I am actually finding him more loathsome as his trajectory goes on in season 11 than I did directly after Scandival. Right. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So I couldn't tell in the after show, he kept when they were talking about superfluous, he kept saying superfluous, and I couldn't tell if he was making fun of Jax or if that's what he thought the word was.
They have never heard that word before. I honestly, no offense, but that's one of the vocab words that, like, even if you don't know vocab words, everyone gets a superfluous off. Yeah. It's a
superfluous.
Yeah, it's like if you're doing vocab words on a 1 to 5, that's like a 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's not that hard. So she storms off. She's crying. Ariana gets up, gives Scheana a hug outside.
It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, she's like, he's scum.
He's fucking trash, honey. I love you so much. I was like, Ariana, that is the best representation of Ariana being a good person. Scheana was like dipping into the Sandoval pool, making Ariana have to evaluate her stance.
Do you think there was a little bit of a like, I told you?
Totally. But she didn't say it. She closes her eyes, embraces Scheana, smiles, takes her in while she's crying and says, I'm sorry. He's fucking trash, honey. I love you so much. It's like, Scheana, if you're ever thinking about Sandoval and wanting to maybe go over to that side and embrace him, be his friend, just remember what Ariana did to you the moment that he fucking brought this 20-year-old accusation to you. That's who Ariana is as a friend. I thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah. He was saying on the after show that like, he was like, I never judged Scheana for that or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it had nothing to do with you. Who gives a fuck? Like, what are you talking about?
And you probably defended her 100 times for that. The one time it's convenient for you to use against someone that you actively say you love, you used it. And like you said, it's low hanging fruit. It sucked. It wasn't even good.
No, it was whack.
So that was the end of the episode. And I loved it. Yeah. I mean, I loved that Ariana and Scheana scene. I love Jax being back. I love the Lisa scene. Yeah. I love even James, even the little bits of Scheana and Brock, James and Hippie. Those didn't like override the narrative. They still had a good, fun, chaotic episode while still having those narratives play out. It was like really well structured, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then next week, I guess, is like San Fran. And then the one clip that stuck out to me was Schwartz, potentially jokingly, I don't know the context yet, in a bowler hat and a vest, pitching a final one night stand with Katie.
Yeah, it's a Clockwork Orange party.
That's what it looks like.
Do you think she's gonna say yes?
What if she did and they like fucked?
And they filmed it. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean that weirdly.
Like
but it was
Summer House
I was
style?
like, what if it was the first sex scene they did with CCTV where they changed the full formula of Vanderpump Rules? Not that I would ever want to see. I'm not trying to be gross, but I'm just saying, like, what if
sick?
I'm just saying, what if they just did a Summer House all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But I have to bet my money on absolutely not.
No way.
You say no too?
No way.
Oh, are you allowing for it maybe does happen?
Wouldn't that be fun to just allow for that?
I think it would be very cool of both of them to make love to each other one last time as single people. It's giving Mad Men when Betty Draper and Dawn decided to roll around the hay in the barnyard when they were at that school trip. Do you remember Mad Men?
Yeah.
Betty, they're both actively in relationships, but they have to go take
Is that
Sally.
His Zooby Zoo era?
He's zoobying with his wife, but they have to go jointly take Sally to summer camp or somewhere. Okay. And it's when he's sexually attracted again to Betty.
Yeah.
And they roll around in a cabin with no kids in it.
Got to rewatch.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a good episode of Vanderpump Rules. You want to take can I take a certified turtle? Okay. Let's piss. Then we're going to talk about the Valley and then probably Summer House, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, bye.
We're back.
Hey.
We did everything on that break.
Everything.
You know how little turtle cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs wonder what we do on the certified turtle piss break? There's a game on Patreon where people guess what we were doing during the break. And this one, I'll just alleviate any mystery. We both did certified turtle piss breaks, and now we're drinking Trader Joe's sparkling coconut water with yuzu.
It's good.
Do you like that?
Yeah. Okay,
good. So this episode of The Valley that we're going to talk about, it's called Congrats on Your Hair Loss.
Yes. And
I thought it was an amazing episode of The Valley.
It was.
Almost in every way. Almost front to back. I thought. One of a rare perfect episode.
Yeah. I was going to say this at the end of the Vanderpump talk, but it's kind of a crossover item. But Janet revealed that her husband, who I can never remember his name,
Jason or Jordan,
hooked up.
Yeah.
You don't remember
with
either.
Scheana. I think that's kind of sad. It's not good that we don't know in episode 6.
Never talks.
I'm almost positive. Should we look it up, or is it fun to just have it be a mystery?
Jay.
We can call him Jay. But yeah, you're right. He had a Scheana dalliance.
Yeah, that's
right?
Kind of wild.
I thought that was great. Do you like Janet?
Do I like her? She was on Watch What Happens, and She didn't bring too much to the table.
She was nervous. It was her first time.
She's okay. I'm like, I wouldn't say I like or dislike. I think sometimes I'm like, oh, I think she might have more to give.
I think she
like
does.
there's more to come.
I think she does. That's my take on it.
Like if she was a housewife, I'd be like, give her another season. You know?
I think she's got the spark. I think it's first season jitters, which people have.
And she's like extremely pregnant on her
Yeah.
first season.
I think she's funny. I think
Yeah.
she's got the spark. I didn't like how she left Kristen holding the bag. And she does it again too. She keeps trying to put Kristen in the crossfire. It's horrible. I'm like, stop treating Kristen this way. But I do think that is that Machiavellian spirit or whatever is going to be good ultimately for the show. And I think she's a good person. I was thinking about these new cast members and who's popping and who's potentially a dud. And Janet is more on the spectrum of who I think is popping, along with Jesse.
Yeah. And she really is, based on everything she was talking about, she's very intermixed in the Vanderpump crew. Like Ariana brought up a story independently on the after show about being at Janet's birthday party at Dave and Buster's. Like they all like actually hang out.
Yeah, and she said did she say like since season 7 I've been in the mix or something?
She said like 7 years.
7 years. Oh, okay, 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to find the name of Janet's husband, but it's ungoogleable. They say
no result.
It says it's Google, which is weird, but they say that we cannot confirm or deny whether it's Jason or Jordan. But yeah,
I'm leaning Jason.
I looked it up. I had to go to Bing. Jason.
Ask Jeeves.
I had to do a dual Bing, and then I had to go on the AI chat. Jason.
Okay.
They go most likely. It said most likely 90% chance Jason. So
the chromosomes are implying a
yeah,
Jason.
right. Exactly. He's good. He's good. He's good. And Danny and Nia are good. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not giving them the full dud stamp, and obviously Jason has to be on if I want Janet on. I think that I'm going to give them all first season jitters, but I do have to say I think I want to give advice to Zach if I can for a second. Zach, for me, if he can't get it together, he's out next season. He's actively taking me out of the reality of this show with this sort of over-exaggerated audience surrogate reactions to everything. I'm like actively sort of annoyed by his presence on the show. So I think that's the one maybe.
I mean, he does get violently shoved in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking anything away from him for that. I just think that he is the one. I think he thinks that his reactions are going to be really like memeable, or they're really like I'm going to roll my eyes. I think he feels like he's like a producer surrogate, and I really think, Zach, if you want to stay on next season, I think you got to dial that back a little bit. Find what you truly, authentically feel about a situation, and really own that.
Right. Yeah. His role is not quite defined.
It's a little performative overall for me.
Okay. So like the first thing we see is that Luke got a gecko.
Yeah.
Which hopefully turns out better than dog.
You know what? It will. Because anybody will, well, no, I don't know offense, but I mean, I think that gecko will live a long time. I think it was camouflaging. Did you see that?
Yeah, you could barely see it even though they zoomed in.
There was like a little like bark exposed on the thing, and the gecko was in the shade of
that's tight.
Bark. And then Luke and Kristen are talking about having sex so that they can make a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke's like, do you think we got it this time? And she's like, I don't feel in my soul that I'm pregnant. And then she goes, I got a big thing of prenatals.
Yeah.
And he goes, I took 2 of those.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. This scene, besides that they're having sex, there was a little bit of Luke wants a little more of his Colorado life in LA.
In the carpet apartment.
Yeah, and I was thinking, how could he do that? Like, you know what I'm talking about? He said, like, he was like, I want, I'm a bow and arrow guy. I'm a guy who fishes. I obviously like geckos. You can see one right behind me. I love all these things. This doesn't feel like my life here, so I kind of need space. But I was like, what are you saying? Do you want to take over a room and make it a man cave?
Right.
Or
they should put axe throwing in.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, do you want a room where it's like woodsy and like you get water with a what are those things?
Well,
I was just like, I just didn't understand what his solution was, because Kristen doesn't want to. Kristen doesn't want to move to Colorado. She never will.
No.
He'll pry her away from L.A. Like never.
Yeah.
And so I was just but overall though, despite that, I was like, what are you trying to say, Luke? Do you want a man cave? I thought that was maybe the only solution, because he was like, this isn't my place. But I do overall, I really like Luke and Kristen's relationship. I'm a huge suspicious, paranoid person, especially for people dating Kristen. Carter, I was always like slightly skeptical of, even though I think there was a deep love there. But I like Luke and Kristen's dynamic.
I have tea from their podcast.
What is it?
My friend Jen listened, and she said that Luke donated to the same sperm bank that Lala got her sperm from.
Luke did?
And he's also claiming that he's 6'2", and that he put on his form that he likes to cook.
Wait.
And he said that he did it at the time, years ago, for money.
The same cryo bank that that guy Michael Cryo Bank works at? So it's very possible that
Occam's razor.
Did Luke say, did he acknowledge that that's probably Luke or Lala's child?
I think he was like I didn't listen myself. I didn't take the next step, but I think he was like, isn't that crazy?
Whoa. So if his favorite song is Grown Ocean by Fleet Foxes, and he likes the ocean, which I think he does, it's very possible that Lala is walking. But you're not allowed to know, right?
Right. Like, did she say that she saw a photo, or she just got like the basic details?
That would instantly, I remember him. It was like 6'2", likes axe throwing, likes geckos, listens to Fleet Foxes. Would that secure Vanderpump Rules like 10 seasons? That would, right?
That would be a worse bait and switch than
Wait. Wait. I wasn't thinking that. It's not, I'm not thinking it's bad. Are you saying that it's bad that Luke gives his sperm?
No, I don't care. I was like, why did he do that?
Well, I mean, anybody would.
I guess.
I mean, I don't fault him for doing it.
Well, I didn't know when it was. Like, it would be weird if he did it now.
I think he just did it. Wait.
While he's trying to get Kristen pregnant, he's giving his sperm elsewhere.
You're supposed to give your sperm up.
To the gods.
It's happening.
It's like Coco Pelli.
What's it? One
logic.
For them. Wait, what's Coco Pelli logic? It's like one for them, one for me. You're supposed to give some of the semen to the earth, and then you give some of it to your wife, so it impregnates her. You
Pour
don't
one out for the homies.
So if he's jerking off into that cryolab tank, which that's I don't find that odd.
Sure.
I don't. Unless he was lying on his form, but he didn't. I don't think he said he was lying. He is 6'2". I think he's tall. And I would be okay. I would be okay with Luke being the donor. I'm just saying it would be the most shocking thing in Vanderpump Rules history, rivaling Scandival, if Lala got his sperm, right?
That would be fucking insane.
But I think we have to assume there's a 50-50 chance, right?
The only I keep wanting to bring this up, which is so irrelevant and you probably don't care, but
I'll care.
The last shocking it's not the same, but when Khloe Kardashian used a surrogate for her second baby born, Tristan Thompson, as you know, cheated on her.
Yeah.
When she found out essentially just before giving birth the first time. Yeah. Then she forgave him and they got back together. And he convinced her that he was a changed man.
Oh, man.
They agreed to do a surrogate because she didn't want to be pregnant again, but they agreed they were going to have another kid. They inseminated a woman. And then she found out after the deed was done that he had impregnated another woman, and he let her move forward with the surrogacy, even though he knew that other chick was pregnant and he was in court with her. And the documents were made public, which he didn't somehow think was going to happen. And I'm like, fertility shenanigans is like some of the most salacious drama there could be.
That's bad. And that's a horror story. Fertility horror story. I would say this is like the opposite. This is like,
unless it turns out that like there's some weird thing where all those documentaries about how the fertility doctor like spread their seed amongst entire towns.
I can't watch documentaries about that.
What if every donor born baby in LA is Luke's?
They made a huge mistake, and they actually in that
copy paste.
Wait, I am afraid we're gonna potentially bordering on the line of offending our sperm bank heads at the cryo bank. I don't think they would do this, but I am worried, like you said, that unfortunately, what if a full batch got destroyed?
In that footage of him showing everything, he's like, "Oh shit."
Wait, Luke, say Luke.
The sperm bank owner man, when they showed the footage of them being like, "Here are all the sperms,"
and it's only Luke's.
Yeah, you can see.
I have to say, let's do a wait and see on that. But I will say that would be huge for us Vanderpump Rules fans to learn. And let's
huge if true.
Huge if true. And I would say, I mean, it's not unlikely that it's true. So would you think, just to end this conversation, would Lala be bummed or happy that it's sort of in the friend group?
I think it would be very bad, considering her entire reason for doing all of this is because she doesn't trust men. That now there's like someone involved that she knows.
Wait, but Luke is trustworthy.
Oh.
You don't think Luke is?
I'm waiting for a dark turn from that man.
I'm not.
He was a little unhinged at the end of this episode, I thought.
I thought he behaved classily.
She did imply that he was drunk.
He was a little drunk when he started debating about the douchebag
I feel like
thing.
he's like, let me at him.
He was, I felt like he actually handled Jesse acting like a little, screaming person at him. I think he handled it well.
I'm just saying, I am holding out that he could do something weird.
Okay, all right. You're more of a glass half empty person than I am. I actually hold out hope that Luke is even better than I imagine. Let's take the valley in big chunks.
For some reason, Jax and Jasmine get together. They're talking about getting his marriage's spark back. He says his standout line of the meeting is, "Brittany's love language is my face between her legs."
And he goes, she would be fully fine if I just walked around with my head in between her legs. And then he says she's got a lot of toys now because I'm not sexually pleasing her.
Right.
So she's probably, the batteries are running out on all those toys.
Yeah.
And then there's a through line where Jax goes, "Don't tell anybody, Jasmine, this at all." But apparently Michelle texts a bunch of people on the side, guys on the side, and she's actively cheating on Jesse. And he goes, "But don't tell anyone."
He goes, "Kristen told me, and I'm just afraid she's going to open her damn mouth about this."
Yeah, it's like, Kristen got called into this a lot when she did nothing in this episode.
It's so fucking funny to be like on camera with someone and going, "Don't tell anyone what I just told you. Kristen told me, and I'm afraid she's going to tell everyone."
No, I like that too. And I also liked him telling Jasmine and making Jasmine, a kind of relatively new cast member, handle what to do with a huge piece of information.
Her eyes darting when he goes, "Keep this between us, okay?" And she's like, you can see her being like, "On camera?"
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, how do I do this? It was funny. And then when she has the scene with Janet, she goes, "I have explosive news that I can't tell you, but Kristen knows it. So you'll have to learn from her." They didn't know how to properly handle this information. Jasmine didn't.
Right.
There's also, I don't know if we can, how fast we want to skip, but I did like Brittany going to Jax's Studio City for the first time.
I'm concerned about the golf cart on these city streets. It's not Charleston, like we said. I'm like, Ventura Boulevard is like one of the busiest main thoroughfares in LA. Why do you get to just drive a golf cart? I
hate pulling off the 134 or the 101 North onto that street that connects Ventura Boulevard. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's Sepulveda. And they were driving too fast.
She was like holding on.
It was like Brittany. I was like worried that they were going to hit a curb or something.
It's nuts.
I know. I think that
it's one thing to use it like inter neighborhood, like just in suburb streets to get like to if he wanted to go to like a pool party down the road and like fuck around. But once you're on like major roads,
it's not for going to Stout.
Right.
I think that's why he didn't order a beer at Stout, because he knew that everybody had just seen him drive a golf cart and he didn't want to be accused of being tipsy on a golf cart.
That would be bad.
So I like the scene though with Brittany going to Jax's Studio City. I thought that I don't understand how much, like we said, Jax's involvement in this thing. He seems very much like, I don't know what to say. I don't know anything about running a bar. I don't know what advice they need from me.
The owners were like, Brittany, you're a girl. We need girls' advice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. And Brittany was like, how many decisions have been made without me? I have things I want to say. And I'm just like, I don't know how much say you guys have in this.
And Jax kept being like, I thought we could put like little, like twinkle lights like on the table. Like he thought that was like a huge revelation.
And he goes, did you hear me what I said? And he goes like a firefly or foxfire. He goes, they have those at Foxfire. And then she goes, after they have that sort of like, Brittany, we need you. We'll put you on the group chat. Brittany goes, Jax, are you always that quiet when they're talking about stuff? And he goes, yeah, I just don't know what to say. And he goes, and she goes, you seem stressed out. And he goes, I am so stressed, Brittany. And she goes, about what? And it's kind of like she is kind of taken aback. And he goes, my job, this new bar, raising a child, having a family, stuff with you. It's like, it's all so much. And the show. Yeah. You know, he's not talking about, but being on the show again, he is like stressed out. And he's like, you could see it, that he's like really, really going through it. And then Brittany goes, well, you're not pushing us having a child, right? And he goes, oh, I don't know, you know, it's hard to do that, but I do want another child. He goes, one more child. And she goes, well, you know, if you want to make that happen, we need to have romantic times again.
Yeah,
you know, we need to make time for each other. I
want to feel the butterflies.
And I thought that was really cute. Sweet. She goes, I need to feel those butterflies again, Jax.
And just that request, he's like, I'm gonna fucking cry. He was like, I can't do one more thing.
He can't give Brittany those butterflies again. But I honestly, I'm a Brittany stan this episode, which, you know, whatever, make of that what you will. But Brittany, I liked Brittany saying she's trying to help Jax help her. She's like, Jax, all I need from you is to feel a little bit of the spark, like you love me and you're attracted to me. I just want to feel those butterflies, like that you want to kiss me or whatever. And Jax is like not truly listening because he is so stressed out. And I feel like this is what led to their demise. He wasn't picking up on huge cues that Brittany was giving him.
Yeah, I fear they're doomed, but that's just me.
I'm like, Jax, you got to win her back. Do any rom-com convention in the books. Get her back. Like,
it's like truly poor timing, because now that he's so involved in both shows again, he's going to be so distracted and just be like not prioritize.
For sure. But also it's a little bit of a learning curve again. He's rusty. You used to do this in your sleep, Jax. Like, you need to just get back on the horse. And I think that he will learn to juggle these things, especially now that the bar is open. It's sort of like, you know, pretty much running on its own.
I liked how he said with Jasmine, he was like, we'll never be like Jesse and Michelle. Yeah. And it's like, they're both separated, but
that was sad.
So they teed up. He's having his hair care event at the Mondrian, which is an old school location they used to always fuck with. Kristen is like, we used to get schmammered here back in the day.
Yeah.
Some of the Valley, I forget which Valley woman says it, but she's like, this place brings back so many memories. Like, they were all hanging out there like 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's very pivotal to the Vanderpump Rules history.
Yes.
So much stuff has happened there at the Mondrian.
For some reason, Mama comes to this.
Yeah. Did you notice that Brittany called her Mima for a second, which is what I always thought that she was called, and then on the Chiron, and then she almost caught herself and called her Mama. What do you think is going on? Did you think of her as Mima or Mama?
I guess if I say beer cheese, Mama's beer cheese.
Oh, I always said Mima's.
Mima. Well, I know that on I'm going to bring up young Sheldon again. He calls his grandma Meemaw on young Sheldon.
How much do you know that from your work?
Yeah,
or did you know?
I worked at Warner Brothers. And,
I that's what I assumed, because I was like, I don't know.
I had to make memes.
Where he was like,
that was when I had health insurance.
Was it? We've already done this before, but it's like Sheldon hears Sheldon hears somebody win like $100, and they go bazinga, and he goes, I'm gonna remember that, right?
Little Easter eggs all over the place. There's probably a TBS YouTube video that has all of the Easter eggs, actually.
Does it end with a little mini his friends, Johnny Galecki?
It hasn't ended yet. The final season is right now.
Let's
have a party.
Let's have a party and watch just the finale with no context. The series
hold
finale.
Hands and watch it.
What would you say?
Hold hands and watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Is it a half an hour comedy or a 45-minute drama?
It's half hour, so like 22 minutes. But maybe quick. The finale will be extra long.
Did that boy, young Sheldon,
Ian Armitage?
Did Ian Armitage go through puberty on young Sheldon?
He's so old. He's huge now.
So he started
They had to end it.
He started as a prepubescent boy.
Yes.
And he ended as a full-grown boy?
Yeah. It's upsetting.
Really?
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen when they do that. That happened on Lost. I've been rewatching Lost. They had to get rid of Walt because they were like, we have no idea what's going to happen when this kid turns 13.
Did they off him?
They go
eaten by a polar bear?
No, it's even better. They go, Walt had to go off the island. He found an escape route, but no one else can take it. No, it's like they justify it, but it's so funny because they're like, Walt had to leave. You know?
That's the Cola Scola joke about Transparent when what's his name got canceled.
Oh no, what did they do?
And they're just like, his joke or their joke was just like, hey everyone on the phone, Mappa's dead.
That was
like I think the show just kind of skimmed over it, but that was their joke. That's how it would be handled.
That's great. Did you know that Jeff Garlin, he got canceled?
Oh yeah.
This is kind of like
the Goldbergs.
This is kind of like a cancel retrospective, you and I. He got canceled. I don't even remember what he got canceled for because he's not canceled from Curb.
No.
But anyway. I mean, not that that matters, but he was fully like AI'd. They used like CGI technology like they use on Sopranos and just artificially made him like go, I love you all. Well, that wasn't a good Jeff Garlin, but I love you all, but I have to go. And like they fully just CGI'd his presence because they didn't want him back for the finale.
That's insane.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen in the Valley, I don't think.
That was a Mama tangent.
But I do want to set up a little bit more. But before we get into the party and the dinner, I do want to say that Jax, his association with this hair loss brand is very precarious and built on a lie, which I've really come to appreciate that the more I've thought about this episode. He is telling a tall tale by saying that his hair is thinning and he has a bald spot
Is he like the first man in history to lie about going bald in the other direction?
I think he wanted this opportunity as a potential candidate, that he got offered this and he wanted to make it seem like he was on the path towards losing his hair when it's not a possibility. I mean, They show the bald spot and it's a shade edit. It's not even dime sized. It's a cowlick. That's what they all say. So I think it's funny that they all are laughing, saying Jax is like purposefully, lying about the state of his hair so that he can make $1,000 or whatever.
Yeah. And he tells, when he pitches to the crowd, he tells this whole tall tale about how they did a photo shoot and the photographer was like, come see these photos. And he goes, let me take a look at that. Zoom in there. What is that? And he's like, and that's where I saw the bald spot. So I got home and I grabbed my spray paint in the garage and I just sprayed jet black spray paint onto my skull. Everyone was like, oh.
He said it was Rust-Oleum spray paint, which I was like, is that better? Is that better for human skin? And no, it's industrial grade spray paint. Also, I think it was, in the way he was telling it, it was on the same day. The photo shoot was happening at his house, so he went into the garage and poured or sprayed the black spray paint. What photo did he see? The photographer took a photo of the back of his
corner
head.
Of his skull.
And
God forbid that, like, I assume there was a makeup artist on set, that could have helped with that, or
I would say
eyeshadow,
a lot of contemporary photographers might say, you know what, we do have post processing. There's quick ways we can resolve it. I just
he
love
comes
that.
back, his entire face is like black.
I just love that. Like, I love that the audience gave him that. I love everyone appeasing Jax. I love everyone being like, Jax, whatever you want to say, we'll laugh, we'll clap, we'll be sweet to you about this.
It's also so like everything he's hawking is so irrelevant and like unnatural to him. Like it's just like it means nothing. Like it's like you can't even pretend.
But he was really singing for his supper with those execs. He was like, if I know men like I do, he goes, we hate multiple steps. He's like, this stuff is like Viagra. People just want one pill. He was like, I do that. And also he probably said, hey, Zion, just so you know, if you pay me $5,000, this is going on the Valley. Like you're going to get the biggest promotion you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
I also like that this is Jax's like version of when startup founders, they always have to have a stupid pitch for why they created a startup. It's like, I couldn't call my friend, or I wanted to see, my grandson on my phone, so I invented FaceTime or whatever.
Right.
This is his version of a really stupid startup
origin,
pitch.
which everyone was like, that was bullshit, right?
Right.
So also for some reason at the same event, there's a girl dressed scantily selling Burning Man clothes.
It's a Burning Man pop-up.
Okay. Like, why is that happening at the same exact time?
And all the guys, Luke, Jesse, some other random guys, Jax, are all like crowding around, asking a lot of questions about the stuff that they don't care about at all, because I'll just say it. They think that this pop-up manager, Gabby, is very attractive.
Yeah, they're giving Aluga.
And they're going, so when's Burning Man? And they're like, so all of these clothes are what? For Burning Man? And they're just kind of like...
They're wearing tassel hats. It's kind of fun. They're wearing robes. And then
they go back into the party with all that stuff on.
And then at one point, Mama ends up in the outfit, which is fun.
Yeah.
But then Jesse's in the other outfit and is dancing with Mama. And Michelle goes, you can have him.
I know. Michelle is not happy with Jesse at this point. Or... a lot of the time.
Right.
Right.
And then he disappears. It turns out he's talking to the booth girl again. And she goes and finds him. And she's like, what's this? What are you doing? And he's like, this is stuff for Burning Man. And she goes, are you going to Burning Man? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think we should go to dinner now.
Yeah. And also there's another husband that's also doing the same thing as Jesse. And he goes, it's a Burning Man pop-up. Like they're acting like they're so excited about
It's so stupid.
But then, I mean, this is...
And they're doing the dumb thing of like, oh, we better get away from this hot chick or we're going to do something bad. Yeah,
but then Jesse, though, is wading into it. He is trying to actively flirt because we learn, I'll just say it now, we learned that Jesse got some bad news. 2 hours before the Mondrian, he had that ayahuasca peyote trip that was diagnosed to him, and he learned deep in his soul that Michelle is going to leave him. And we learn that she is probably going to leave him within the next 2 months. Jax, that's the rumor that's going around too.
Right. Jax is talking about how he wants to open the bar ASAP. Jesse is in the corner super bummed out. His wife keeps being like, you're being like...
This is at the dinner.
Yes.
They mosey on to the dinner. Yep. And I didn't... At first I was like, wait, what's happening here? Did I miss a scene where they pretended like they like went somewhere else or whatever? But no, it's just they scheduled a dinner after this like chaotic, bar hang where they're all drunk.
Right. Everyone I think got fucked up at that pre-party.
And Jesse is not being, like you said, he's not being his characteristic self, to the point where everyone is doing the worst thing in the world, my worst nightmare, where you're not in a good mood or you're not being fun or you don't feel like yourself, and everybody's going, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You seem really sad. You're normally the life of the party. What are you doing over there? And make it way worse.
Yeah.
So you're more uncomfortable.
Right. And his wife is like, stop it. Like,
get better. Like, you look too serious. And he's like, I look how I look. And he goes, can I just sit here in fucking peace and chug 6 drinks on my own? And at this point, I was like, Jesse has a point. He doesn't, it's sorry for you all that you all are begging Jesse to be fun, that you all can't, like all 10 of you can't have an engaging conversation without thinking about what Jesse is going to do.
Yeah.
That means that you're all thinking Jesse's the life of the party and what's he going to say.
Yeah.
And he gets to have time off if he wants.
Yeah.
He should have just been able to be miserable and chug a bunch of drinks if he wanted.
Yeah. I didn't totally understand how it went from that point to like him slamming the table. Like there was an in-between where he started saying some stuff and then Brittany was like, all right, don't say that. Like, don't go there. And everyone just like immediately got pissed at him.
He says, okay, this is what happened because I watched it so many times. He comes back and everybody goes, where were you, Jesse? And Michelle says the worst thing. I forget what she says. She goes, Jesse, everyone wants to know what the hell is wrong with you and you have to wake up.
Yeah.
And he goes, fine. And he's basically like, if you want me woken up, I'm gonna wake up, and then
here's Jesse.
It's a total. Here's Jesse, and he goes. Starts talking about Burning Man. He starts talking about. Do you think it's Burning Man is salty like my salty balls?
Oh yeah, he's like, who wants to go to Burning Man?
He's like purposefully. He's like, you wanted me to do stuff at this dinner. I'm gonna fucking do stuff and sabotage it. I've never heard somebody talk about their salty balls. It was so purposefully trying to sabotage the dinner that I actually gave him a lot of credit for that. I was like, I've never seen anybody do this. Try to destroy a dinner because you're feeling that way.
Yeah, and she's like, stop talking, and he's like.
And then he goes, but before that, he goes, if you want me to be interesting, you got to keep me interested with something interesting.
Oh, right.
And that's when they go, how
Brittany's
rude.
Like, stop.
You're saying that we're not interesting, that we're not fun.
And Kristen can feel the tides turning. Is like, we got to get out of here.
She knows it's getting bad. And then Zach is the one who creates, I mean, I'm not saying it's Zach's fault, but Jesse gets mad at Zach because when Jesse is starting to get filled up with rage, Zach sort of notices that it's about to get derailed, and he puts up a napkin over his face, kind of cartoonishly, like I can't see this, which is I sort of have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's a little. Don't put a napkin over your face at a dinner. Yeah. I don't think it's just too performative. But then Jesse goes, Zach. And then he slams his hand down at Zach for putting the napkin over his face. I'm almost positive that's what. And then Jesse knows that he's slammed and he knows that his rage got out of control. So he goes, what did he say? He goes,
he's like, here we go again.
Round 2 of Jesse. But
he slammed the table before.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Kristen is in the corner to Luke like, holy shit, like he's such a douche. Even his wife calls him a douche. And she's like, can you imagine if I called you a douche? And he's like, Luke is like, you have called me a douche. And she's like, are you joking?
You do
and
call
he's
me
like,
that.
I'm just telling the truth.
But I defend Luke. I say he was drunk. He had 10 whiskeys.
And Kristen's like, God damn it, everyone here is drunk except for me. I gotta get out of here.
Luke's was more on the permissible, I'm drunk and I'm picking a fight, or I don't understand what you truly said. I give Luke that. But Kristen was fully sober. She wants to get out of there. And then when they leave, you hear Kristen talking to the producer.
Yeah.
And the producer, I was kind of thought the producer was weird. He was going, come on, calm down. And Kristen's like, no. He's acting like a fucking horrible human being. He's banging the table. He's getting aggressive. This is turning into trash.
Yeah. Didn't she say at the table that Jesse is abusive? Because then everyone's like, come on.
Yeah. She uses a sort of loaded word, abusive. And that's when everybody goes, Kristen, you suck. You said another horrible thing. Janet goes, oh, come on. And they try to make Kristen the villain again.
Yeah. And yeah, so then she ends up in the hallway with the producer. I think she says he's like a psycho or something, and then all of a sudden you blink and Jesse's back there.
It's not giving psycho.
Totally.
Yeah, and she also says that this show is turning into trash. Like she is like breaking the fourth wall in a way where she's saying like, I didn't think I was signing up for a show that was gonna like devolve like this into a chaotic Vanderpump mess.
Right. So then Jesse's back there and he's like, if you bring up any secrets that I don't know already about my wife, I will bury you.
I will fucking bury you.
And then Luke hears something and he's like, I should probably be over there. And he like comes over.
Immediately pushes Jesse back 3 steps. I was like, damn, fuck yeah, Luke.
And then all of a sudden Michelle's like, don't touch my husband. I'm like, since when? You fucking hate him.
I know. Why are you guys rallying around each other? Like, what the hell kind of thing is this? You like all of a sudden you're defending Jesse after he's screaming, and Jesse goes, "Don't touch my husband." And then, or sorry, Michelle says that, and then Michelle gets mad at Kristen, and I thought it was a little over the top. She starts screaming, and Kristen's like, "I've never heard her before."
Yeah, she's like, "What are you gonna say now?
You're ruining my relationship." And
unfortunately, Michelle's nipple was exposed for the duration of this argument.
And it's getting off kilter. It's getting off kilter when a nipple is out. Oh, it
was blurred for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then Luke, it's getting very heated. Everyone is screaming. Then at one point, Jesse's sort of walking away. Sorry, we're having a little bit of an issue with I'd say a dog that wants to go out very bad. Oh, or needs something. It doesn't matter. It's Luke does one of those lines that you want to get out when someone's walking away, which is I forget what he said. It was like
get your woman in check or something. He says,
Jesse says that to him.
Yes,
Jesse says that to him, and also Jesse goes, "Yeah, if you don't get control of Kristen right now, and he goes, what are you gonna do? Put your hands on her?" And then Luke says what I thought was great. He says your problems are with your wife. Talk to your wife about this, which is true. It's not get your wife in check. It's all of these issues are stemming from your insecurity and sadness and misery with your current relationship. That was a good retort.
Right.
And then Jesse goes, "What the fuck did you say?" And he starts running down the hallway. Seriously. Like pushing down like I've never seen before. It's a tight hallway and he is ripping through everyone.
All of a sudden everybody's there.
Zach goes, "Stop it. Stop it." And then Zach gets a clothesline to his neck.
It was like football.
Yes.
He shoved
Zach,
through.
You see Zach. I mean, Zach is obviously absolutely not prepared for this. Then Michelle is in the way. Brittany's in the way. Kristen gets a little bit of this. And Luke doesn't get touched. And then I watched it so many times. It's so chaotic. It's like the Southern Charm finale fight where it's too chaotic. They couldn't even focus on it. Brittany checks Jesse the fuck back because Brittany's right there. Brittany shoves Jesse back. I was like, God damn, Brittany's so cool this episode.
Yeah. We also skipped that at one point. Kristen goes, your husband said he's going to divorce you in 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the reverse.
Yeah, it was the game of telephone that I was talking about. And Jax goes, "No, that's not what I said. Michelle is going to divorce Jesse in 2 months."
Yes. And then Kristen, she keeps being like, I've been protecting you with this secret or whatever. And she's like, "You don't want me to protect you anymore? Okay, fine." And then she leaves and her and Luke are in a different hallway. And she's like, "Michelle's been seeing a guy for over a year, blah, blah, blah." That's the big reveal.
Yeah. And Michelle said, "Stop with this protecting that you keep saying you're protecting me." And so Kristen said, "Okay, I'm no longer protecting you anymore." And I think it was the right time for this to come out. I really don't blame Kristen. It's already been talked about enough on the show. I actually give Kristen credit for just fully saying it. And also, what does she owe to this monster, Jesse and Michelle, who screamed at her and said that she shouldn't birth children?
Right.
The last episode.
Yeah.
I'm fully... This show, or producers, whoever, you can try to make me hate Kristen, paint her as the villain. You'll never do it. She's fucking killing it this episode. I loved it.
Yeah, she said, this is where she says what was in the preview, where she's like, if I knew it was gonna be like this, I'd rather be on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what she expected on a show where also it's with Jax and Brittany, but you have to imagine it's gonna share DNA with Vanderpump Rules, and I don't know. I thought that I think she should be glad that we are cherishing this as much as Vanderpump Rules, in my opinion.
I had a friend that texted me about this, who was formerly married and was saying she was team, even though I think she agrees that Jesse is trash, she felt bad for them that this secret was coming to the forefront, because she was like, even though if you're married and shit is falling apart, you stay together for the kid a lot of the time. And so maybe there is quote cheating or shit like that. The timeline is fucked up because you maybe didn't break up as fast because you have a kid or whatever. And I was like, sure, I don't give a fuck that she did that. But they joined a show where the entire point is that your secrets are revealed.
Totally.
So yes. I don't care.
Yeah. And I think Kristen gave enough, deference.
Warning.
What? Warning. She said, I'm gonna tell your big secret pretty soon. And I think that Jesse and Michelle,
clock is ticking.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. I
Be cool to me or else.
Yeah, and also like Jesse and Michelle. I know the timeline. They want to maybe slow roll this, but their relationship is absolute shit. We've seen it. They already talked about the Chateau Marmont rumors. It was all leading up to this moment. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah,
So
she's already like seeing a new guy currently.
It was earned. It was earned that Kristen said this. It's the right moment to reveal this, and Michelle treats you like shit. So
yeah.
Expose her. So that was a good episode of The Valley, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for.
We talked about Zion enough, right? Because I should have said up front.
Yeah, we should have gone on their website.
Well, I didn't want to say this, but they gave us some money to promote them this episode.
I want to try it.
$65.
Is that split?
$65 split, but it's in the form of the hair loss serum. But you and I, but whatever. You can use that, or we'll just split it, or we'll sell it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, do you want to? Can we do one certified turtle piss, and then talk about maybe for like 20 minutes the last week's episode of Summer House for all the people that waited and did the Summer House challenge with us?
Let's do it.
10 to 20.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. All right. We're back.
Summer House.
I finished my coconut and yuzu sparkling Trader Joe's drink.
I am disappointed to find that it has calories.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Should I have said that?
No. It's only 60 calories. I'm just so sparkling water pilled
I'm sorry. I totally did
I'm not like a calorie counter. I don't care. I just mean, sometimes you're like, wish it was 0.
I'm so not a calorie counter either, and that's
15
why
carbs.
I considered that 6.
That's kind of aggressive.
I am so sorry.
But
I give you
3 dietary fibers, so you get to do 15 minus 3, so it's like 12.
I give you a carbo load. I'm so sorry. I never preface drinks where I should say that it's not sparkling water. I'm sorry about that. There's so much coconut in this. That's giving it all the calories.
I like coconut water though. Like when I'm hungover.
Me too.
Get a big ass coconut water.
It hits so hard.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was the Cocoa Minute.
So this Summer House episode,
was the Crystal Kong Minkoff Minute.
Oh,
the Cocoa Queen.
We call her the Cocoa Queen. Do you think it's nice that she's going to have a lot more time to focus on her business?
It'll thrive more than ever before.
Are you going to miss the little Rob Minkoff moments that we got?
Kind of.
I know. He was kind of fun.
Maybe he could be friends with a husband and
yeah,
elbow his way in.
He needs to pull a Jersey husband and be like Frank Catania or something, where it's like, yeah, we invited Rob Minkoff.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, guys, I'm screening The Lion King. And they're like, again? He's like, I'm screening The Brave Little Toaster. And they're like,
I'm screening the Haunted Mansion remake with Eddie Murphy.
is he on that?
I think so. Don't fact check.
They're like, Rob, do we have to just watch your 3 movies over again?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to say about this Summer House generally before we get into the meat of it, because we love this, we love Summer House. Well, obviously we cherish it, but we're gonna do the Summer House minute because Amy and I, come on. What the hell? And it wasn't such an explosive episode that you really need to talk about this shit.
We're just gonna parse out the most important bits and pick them apart.
But I want to say, I thought this was the first stinker this season.
Oh wow!
I didn't enjoy it.
Oh.
So I loved the alien party. I'm not taking anything away from the alien party. That's one of their best parties. Obviously, I wish you and I had been invited last year. I say that every single week. It was great. I loved the costumes. I thought it was fun. The ray guns, everything about that. That was like 10 out of 10.
Uh-huh.
But all of the conflict that arose during this episode, I did not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy the balloon guy Joe threesome or whatever that's called.
Sure.
Not a threesome, but fighting
love
over
triangle.
balloon guy Joe, love triangle. I was like, this is not happening. Gabby doesn't really like this guy.
No.
Danielle kind of likes him, but there's so many other guys. You don't
Yeah.
need to make it a focus on balloon guy Joe. That was such a
Sure.
Lindsay producer hat garbage.
Yeah.
And then I really, really did not like Amanda and Paige's revelation where they're like, I'm actually a Danielle hater.
Right.
And I've always been. I did not like that. So
yeah.
it was kind of a mess for me conflict wise, although I give them credit for having one of the best parties I've ever seen captured on television.
Yeah. So they the first party scene in this episode is they go out to the club.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, which is kind of rare.
Amanda she took a note from Kyle or whatever, or the world, and she partied her ass off at Just a Bar in the Hamptons. That's what it was called. Just a Bar. And they were all partying and having so much fun.
Yeah, Paige gave Kyle a titty twister. At one point, Amanda flashed her tits to Kyle outside. Everyone was having a blast.
Like everyone was. They were all having a great time. And then Kyle goes, I'm sorry, guys, we have to have a scene. So Paige, Danielle, you come out with me. Let's have a scene together. And this, again, goes to one of my least favorite cliches of Summer House. And it's gone on too long. I can't believe it. Someone questions Craig and Paige's relationship again. Kyle does. Yeah. Kyle goes, this summer is so great, and I'm having the time of my life, I have to say. But one thing it's definitely missing is I wish Craig was here more.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
I know.
Craig lives in a different city. He already visited you. You don't need him more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just such a stupid tee up for what he wanted to say, which is that, and Craig really surprised me when he said for the first time that he's allowing for the possibility that you guys might make it, which is just a very normal, healthy way to view a relationship. So I was like, Kyle, enough. You are beating a long dead horse.
Yeah, they were both and Danielle was on board with the questioning because when they first bring him up, Paige is cute. She's like drunk and she's just like, oh, like I love Craig. Like she goes, he's my friend. And Danielle goes, just a friend. And she's like, I meant like, I really like him a lot. He's my best friend. I love him.
Yeah.
And and then
they are so like skeptical of what's going on here, but it's like enough.
Even like when Danielle goes too hard, I feel like Kyle has to fix it.
Yeah, no, he's like,
he goes, my friend who I like to fuck.
Yeah, no, he was like, no, Danielle, sorry, I'm trying to do what you're doing.
You're actually hijacking this and making it worse.
Yeah, like no, I'm doing what you're doing, but you're doing it ineffectively. Like you're doing too much,
taking it too far.
And then Danielle, again in that same spirit, like Paige says, so. Anytime anybody ever wants to bring up Paige and Craig's relationship, anybody who thinks that they're not going to get married, Paige goes, I will marry him. Mm-hmm. I will marry him.
She goes, because Danielle's like, or is it Danielle or Kyle that says
Danielle goes, you've got his balls on the mantelpiece. What is it, mantle?
Well, first they're like, do you feel like you're stringing him along? And she's like, no, because I know that I'm going to marry him. I'm just going to do it on my own terms.
Yes.
But if that doesn't work, then that doesn't work.
But they're giving the worst possible interpretation of all these logical things that she's saying.
Sure. Like she's literally 30 years old. Like it's not an emergency. Yeah. Please calm down. Danielle's like, there's something holding you back. And she's like, and I'm going to be honest, he gives you everything and you're giving him nothing. And Kyle's like,
yeah, I mean, you give him nothing. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I don't know why Danielle chose to make this claim.
It's insane. She goes, do you think he's your forever guy? Or are you just a badass bitch doing your own thing and like he's Mr. Right Now? And it's like, huh? I was like, since when do you give a fuck about Craig? Like, even if he is getting strung along, which he's not, why do you fucking care? I had to like rack my brain for like, I'm like, is there a connection there I'm not thinking of? Is she friends with Craig?
Paige.
And then later I was like, thanks for like confirming. Paige is like, have you even fucking met Craig?
In the after show, she goes, I think they've met twice.
It's so weird.
I think that, here's what I think happened. Because I am a Danielle defender. We defended her all last season on Turtle Time.
Yeah.
Go back and listen. We were always on Danielle's side. I think she took a producer note or a Kyle note or just took a storyline that she thinks is still active or good, and just her drunk brain took it to a 10 out of 10, and she said things that I think anyone would probably take back.
Well, even you can take the drunk out of it because she maintains that opinion in the after show, and she is mumble mouth, cannot get a point across.
It's a 2 out of 10.
When Amanda is like, the producer's like, what did you mean by that? And Amanda's like, yeah, that was really harsh. And she's like, I just feel like, like she won't let him chip in, like, for them to get an apartment together. And Amanda's like, yeah, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to depend on him for money. Like, she's worked hard. And she's like, yeah, I just feel like she won't let him, like, contribute for things that are things they want to do together. And you can tell everyone's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, she couldn't get up to that, 10 out of 10 take that she had in the moment. And then Danielle goes, what else could I have said? And Amanda goes, this or anything else? Like, Amanda really wasn't letting it die, that Danielle was too aggressive. I don't know why Danielle did that, except I think that she just took a Kyle take and wanted it for herself to have a moment, because she hasn't had a lot of strong moments this season.
Yeah.
She's like, you got his balls on the wall.
To the windows, to the wall. I'm excited for that to hit the fan. It looks like shit goes down next week.
And it looks like it's Paige and her still, based on the after show. They're not doing good. Seems like Danielle is like dead to Paige.
Yeah, she's
for a
like,
while.
I have a boyfriend and a job, and you have neither, so why don't you not tell me what to do with my life?
And she says Danielle likes to stand on moral high ground and say a bunch of shit that she thinks is advice, but if you ever give her any advice about anything, she runs.
Yeah, she conditioned and can't take it.
Yeah.
When they all go home, everyone's fucked up, which I love to see. Gabby flips over the couch onto the floor, falls again in the kitchen. Everyone's dancing. Men are in wigs. Kyle does a little shuffle with his ass out into bed. And I'm just like, see, when everyone parties, things are better.
Yeah, you mean everyone.
Yeah, like Amanda went out and
Yes.
had fun. Like, no one stayed in their jammies.
No, it was good. But I get the party spirit. No, you're right. I mean, I liked that, Kyle obviously loved so much that Amanda was out with him.
Yeah,
It
and
meant a lot.
again, like when Amanda's, like, to compare with like Katie, when Amanda's feeling light, she's like much more fun to watch, and I feel like she shone
She's shown
in this episode
she
and the after show. When West is like to her and Paige, like, were you guys first date bang chicks? And she's like, only second or third date. You gotta wait to stick it in this juice box. And I was like, that's a crazy thing to say. That's funny.
But Amanda's always funny, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like when she's pissed off, she's not funny.
Yeah, okay. Oh, damn, yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
She can be mean, which she agreed on the after show that in retrospect, watching the season, she was like, oh, I've been really mean.
Yeah. Paige goes, juice box, which I thought was fun. Do you think I gotta say, I think West says this, he addresses this in the after show. He says, I don't want to come off like a guy that's like, fuck me, please. Which
whiny baby.
I do think two more conversations like this, and it's bordering on that territory. I would say this is the last time you talk about Sierra not having sex with you, because it starts to get repulsive.
And it's like leads to her in the after show saying, I do not owe you my body. It's a privilege to have sex with me. It's like, I don't think he even like minds. I think it's just like they've decided that this is the storyline.
Yes, and I mean it's right for Sierra to start to get repulsed. Like it's right for Sierra to start to be like, you want it too bad. It's starting to be off-putting how much you want it. So I don't think West will ever say that again. Hopefully, because you're right. Sierra is like having to like make this like this statement about her, a mission statement about herself. It's like, Sierra, don't even explain.
Although I don't know how she didn't pull the trigger once he spooked everyone in that alien suit, because that was one of the best moments I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was great. While they're talking shit about West, they're like, he was crying about how he doesn't get to have sex with you. He was literally crying. And then West is crawling on all fours, and he scares the shit out of them, which was great.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
He looks very funny in that little suit. And then Sierra wears another one of her nuts outfits, the full alien mask. Kyle does a cone head. This party looked awesome.
It really did.
Everyone is having fun.
There was a couple licensed characters that they had to blur. I saw
really?
Boba Fett, Jango Fett, E.T.
Conehead doesn't count.
Conehead is
That should be an NBC property, so that works.
SNL is NBC Universal. They fully had the rights to that. Did you see also when
they don't blur Avatar though?
NBC Universal. There's some loophole with Avatar.
Okay.
I forget what it is. James Cameron allows
He loves
Avatar usage. Did you say also, speaking of copyright, when Kyle peeks his little head out of the astronaut suit, he goes, "Hey, Johnny."
Yes.
And I was like, is that because you can't say "Here's Johnny" legally on Bravo?
I
So
think
you
that was a funny snafu.
You think
I
so?
laughed a lot that first time.
Yeah, that was good.
And then
Did you like Balloon Guy Joe?
I mean, it kind of felt like a throwback. Like, I mean, it was definitely forced. Like old times when I feel like a townie would maybe get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was interesting. They didn't really get into it, but like the idea that someone that like lives on Long Island that like works for the people that throw these parties who are just visitors.
Like, I didn't even think about it like that.
Like he's like a real person that lives there.
Oh, that's like
probably year round.
That's like atonement. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
The garden boy, he's not allowed to have sex with any of the people in the house.
Right.
And then he ends up, that's
things don't end well for him or her in that movie.
It's not good.
Couldn't go worse.
Unfortunately, who's that actor that we all love? Saoirse Ronan. She unfortunately thinks that the garden boy was. Anyway, so
that was the atonement minute.
So,
but yeah, so I thought there was something intriguing about it, but it was definitely forced.
I didn't find it intriguing. Okay. I didn't think Balloon Guy.
I thought he was hot though.
Damn! I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say whether or not I found Balloon Guy Joe attractive, but so good. I'm glad because that adds more to it. Because I didn't find a lot of merit to him, and I was like, would people be fighting over Balloon Guy Joe? But the fact that you have the same taste as Lindsay Hubbard and think he's hot, I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that Gabby gave a shit about him. Though.
No, she didn't. And they kept trying to go like, Gabby, what are you doing over here? You gotta go talk to him. And she's like, I don't give a fuck about it. Like, she didn't want to be a part of this at all.
So then Paige and Amanda, she brings up what Danielle said. And Amanda's like, she said that?
Yes. Which is the right response. First, Amanda has the right response. She can't believe that Danielle said, you've got his balls. On the mantle. And I was like, I'm fine with that reaction. Yeah. Like, but what I didn't like was that I think that they start to retcon their attitude towards Danielle in season 7.
Right.
And say that actually, they go, they're like, she was like, I don't know if I'm going to get burned by this, which you are, but I actually fully low-key agreed with Lindsay all season, last season.
She goes, I now can see where Lindsay was coming from last summer.
Right.
And Paige goes, yeah, this is a new side of her I've never seen before. And she's kind of fucking nutty, which I thought that was an interesting choice of words because watching Winter House, I would say nutty was a correct way to describe Danielle's behavior. Like, it's like askew. Like, you're like, what's wrong with you?
You know what? I think she... Yeah, okay. Well, she pined over... What was that guy's name that I love? Alex. She pined over Alex. She hitched her wagon to the wrong star.
She went insane.
I can't go that far.
She went full Shining.
I can go that far. But I didn't like that... I don't like that Amanda and Paige are... trying to make this one outburst that Danielle did and try to say we always knew that Danielle was nutty and Lindsay is fully in the right because they haven't seen the full season yet of what Lindsay is doing to Carl. And I think there's still going to be more. Cocaine Carl shit has like been dormant, but I'm sure it's coming back. We've already seen multiple fights.
And Paige goes as far to say, she goes, Lindsay, take your friend back. We've made a mistake. We don't want her anymore. I was like, damn.
I thought that was so sad.
It was mean.
I was like, when
I was
Paige...
like, note to self, do not fuck with Paige.
And a lot of people feel that way about Paige. Like they've seen this spirit, and I love Paige. Like I'm normally 99% on Paige's side. So when she's mean to someone that I don't fuck with, I love it because you love that perspective. But when it was against Danielle, I was like, oh, that's sad. I like Danielle. I think she made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying Danielle, you said Danielle's off the reservation?
I wasn't impressed by her after show.
I think she made a wrong strategic move.
I didn't say that.
If she said on the after show, I made a wrong strategic move.
Just be like, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
I would too. I would for sure. I would say, I am so sorry, Paige. I never meant to say that because the way she said it, you give him nothing. There's no other way to read that except mean.
Yeah.
That was just me.
No, it was whack.
Okay, so do you give a little credence
I'm waiting to see how she plays out because I think it might get worse.
The jury's still out on Danielle this season. What's a detriment to Danielle is that she's so few and far between this season.
I know.
Because she's keeping her head out of Carl and Lindsay's business because she got her head bitten off last season. She knows that she was treated like shit whenever she got in the middle. So she doesn't want to be a part of the one central conflict that she would be the most valuable in. So now when she tries to have a moment, it's like flopping, and it's like the only one of the moments that we can count on this season to judge her by, which is sad.
Yeah. I just want to shout out the alien abduction bit, which was the teaser that we saw at BravoCon.
Yeah, they for people who haven't seen our BravoCon vlog, we were at the Summer House panel, and we think that they're gonna go show us this big 2-minute trailer or whatever, and it was just 20 seconds of Kyle and Sierra and getting abducted, and that was it, and everyone was audibly confused.
What? Lindsay's wig flies off, and West has a fan on the ground blowing up at them. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I give Lindsay credit for that was very funny.
For sure.
I was fine with Lindsay this whole episode. Yeah. Until she started being a little critical. I like the I'm sexually attracted to.
Well, we're there.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay and Carl go to the side in full costume. She's wearing a pink wig. His hair is silver. He's dressed as a spaceman.
He looks cool. We didn't give him credit.
Yeah, it was fun.
He looks really cool.
Yeah. Which I don't really know why they have to have this serious of a conversation when she's drunk and they're in the middle of a rager.
I got the sense that Lindsay didn't need to have this conversation. She almost seemed like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I got that sense. She's like, do we really need to talk about anything? And it's because Carl, I honestly, I don't know what Carl was doing here. He wants to talk about Loverboy and possibly being associated with Loverboy and the non-alcoholic thing.
Do you think he wanted to tell her on camera so that he was safe?
Of course, he wanted the safety blanket of production when he brought this up. But I got the sense, not to stan Lindsay all of a sudden, but I got the sense that she doesn't really care that much if he joined non-alcoholic Loverboy. And if she wants him to make money and do something, this is obviously the most logical step for him, and it's a great idea. I didn't get the sense that she's skeptical of this, or even trying to make him think this. I honestly felt like Carl second-guessed himself, and he goes, I know why I took time away from Loverboy, and that was actually really good for me, so I have to weigh my options here. And then that's when Lindsay says, you've been weighing your options for a long time, and you said at the end of this summer you were going to stick to a path. So I felt like Carl undercut his own pitch to Lindsay about joining Loverboy because he would actually accomplish exactly what she wanted. He's actually taking initiative.
Right. It felt like on the after show that she was pissed that it took him that long to just end up where he started.
Yes. That, and it makes more sense.
Right.
The conversation makes more sense. It was like, Carl, you needed 8 months off and now you're going to do exactly what you already were doing.
Right.
I think that Carl needed to redefine his role at Loverboy, just like I think Amanda needs to redefine her Loverboy.
Sure.
Carl didn't want to be a salesperson anymore, going into Costco and pitching it and being metrics oriented.
This opportunity hadn't presented itself yet.
No, he wants to just go to stores, events. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And so, first of all, one thing that came up on the after show that I thought was interesting because she keeps bringing it up is that Lindsay's the one who introduced him to the life coach or the career coach that cost $20,000.
Yep.
So I was like, that was your fucking idea in the first place. Why do you keep complaining about how expensive it was?
And he said the coach was valuable. The coach was also like sober and had like motivational speaking, all the stuff that he wanted to do. This coach like represented for him.
Yeah. Second, when she shit on him about buying podcast equipment and then never doing anything with it, he reveals that she wanted to do a Rad House couples podcast, which never came to fruition because he had an idea for his own podcast and was like, it seemed like he was kind of like, I don't want to do a couples podcast. Carlito, time to record.
What does Carl call Lindsay? Babes?
Hey, babe.
What if their intro was Carlito?
babe.
But then, yeah, she made him look like he was so lame. Like he bought a mic, and he bought a mic stand, and he bought a hard drive, and he goes, and it was collecting dust in the corner like a toy that he didn't want to play with.
It's like laid out all this stuff, and he's like, wait. There's context to this that you're not revealing.
Carl was killing it in the after show. If you all don't watch,
bringing receipts.
If you don't watch the after shows, I have to say they're almost as valuable and fun as the episodes.
Yeah.
Just because if you love the cast, you'll love hearing their like contemporary takes on a situation. And Carl's bringing it. He goes, Lindsay wants a person. This is not me. She wants a person that would every single month would go to a board. What does he say? Whiteboard. And say, honey, I've got 150,000 coming in this 2 weeks. Next month I got 300,000. Like he'll never be that person.
Yeah. He was like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, she brings up that he has 3 weeks remaining to justify his existence as a capitalist. And she, she's like, I'm turned on by men who are crushing life. And he goes, you don't think I'm crushing life? And she thinks about it. No, I don't.
Now
And he goes, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. If I was in Carl's shoes, if I'm being an empath, hearing your significant other that you're about to marry say that they don't think that you're actively crushing life right now with no like pick me up speech after, that was really, really sad. Yeah. Especially when I thought the point of this conversation was to tell Lindsay that he was going to do something.
Right.
Like, and also I don't think we can forget that Carl is doing what Lindsay is doing in her life. She doesn't have that PR company.
Well, that's what he says on I think it's the after show or the interview. He goes, he's afraid to say it, but he goes, like, what is she doing?
Yeah, and he says it in a nice way.
Fucking great.
Because Carl has, that was so great. Carl has not said one, like he is doing the best job of not insulting Lindsay. But yeah, he's an influencer and a reality show cast member.
Yeah.
He's exactly what Lindsay is doing. And he's making a lot of money. He's probably making like $150,000 a season or more.
Yeah.
He's been on this cast for 8 seasons.
Yeah. Her big also like opening argument on the after show is that she's like, in cities like New York, men base their identity completely on their career. And I was like, you think that's good?
I was like, what the hell?
I was like, that's gross. Like, what are you talking about?
You got a lot of Patrick Batemans up there that are like just fully career focused. That's why like Wall Street and stuff. Like, man, like I've never wanted like,
yeah, like
so
I
glad.
think she wants like some guy, like she wants to be like Christina and Tarek and just like flip houses until the planet burns. Like she wants to just like ruin the earth and like make money at like speeds we've never seen.
Totally. Yeah, that's what he said. He's like she wants she wants the money truck to come once a month. I also I don't know. This is maybe touchy and people can let me know if I'm speaking out of school. I don't know if Lindsay, it's right to equate your sexual desire with a tangible thing that Carl has no control over, because it sort of sends mixed messages. You're not going to have sex with me, or I feel like I can't have sex because I feel shameful about my current career status. Like it kind of felt weird to muddy the waters of sexual attraction with something that he's currently lacking that he feels guilty about.
Right. What'd she say? She goes, like, if you got a job, you'd have confidence. And if you had confidence, maybe you'd fuck me. Yeah. And if you fuck me, then like I'd feel good. And I was like, yikes.
I know that is a part of it, but I just I felt bad for Carl to learn that. Like, okay, like a part of our sexual like incompatibility is that you think I'm a loser right now.
Right. And it's like she goes about it in like a fucked up way, because like I said, I think I've already said this, but like I don't think she's invalid on like potentially having concerns if they are planning to have a baby ASAP. Like she's allowed to say like, I would love for that shit to be in order before we have a kid. Like she brought up that like if she needed to stay home and was breastfeeding, like he would be in charge of like bringing the cash home or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can say that without being like, it doesn't make me horny when you're not making cash.
Absolutely. I feel like actually thinking about like Scheana and Brock, like we said, we said 3 hours and 6 minutes ago, that it's like that was a healthy way to navigate this fraught conversation.
Right. Like you can be like, you bring value to my life in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Like blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Like we will figure it out.
Yes.
And then he's just like sad. He goes like in his interview, it's scary to have a partner that doesn't fully believe in you.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you zoom out and they're at like an alien party.
Yeah, it was a sad little taste again of Carl and Lindsay because they haven't had any blowouts. They're actually on a good run of like 2 weekends or whatever without it. But it's just even this things that are not fights. There's big issues here. This is big.
Well, it seems like next week already we get that Carl with his mom and stepdad where his dad's like, or stepdad is like, I wouldn't marry you. This is a disaster.
Yeah. Did you see that guy has a More Life shirt on?
Hell yeah.
Isn't that cool?
I love that. Yeah, it's like, remember a few episodes back where she's like, Carl's a grown ass man, almost 40, goes to hang out with his mom. And it's like, yeah, like the only other member of their family just died recently, and like he wants to hang out with his mom.
When
like,
did she
fuck
say
you.
that?
When he like didn't come to the house and he went to see his mom.
She said 40-year-old man running to his mom?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's bad. But there's a happy ending here. For both of them.
Thank God.
For both of them. Lindsay wasn't really, I mean, not to prolong this conversation,
No,
but
I don't
Lindsay,
think she even liked him.
She actively
She
did
didn't
not
respect
like
him.
She didn't respect him. She wanted alone time.
Yeah.
You didn't really like Carl that much either, and it showed.
No, she's just like running out of biological
Well,
time.
I'm glad we agree on that. This is one of our longest episodes. Absolutely.
Who thought?
I didn't. When you came over today, I go, there's no way we're having a 3 hour and 8 minute episode, but we do it every time. This was a good episode.
I think so.
This was, you let us know. We got into weird canceled territory at one point. As we always say, if we say anything cancelable, it's because we're either drunk,
Cocoa water,
tired, whatever. You can't, come on. Just give us a break. And then the last thing you can do if you love this episode, you're like, this was a good episode of Turtle Time. Please, for the love of God, write us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I don't know where the hell you can write reviews. We get this one thing called Chartable, and it shows all these reviews that are like beautiful. Do that. If you have anything mean to say, think about it for 2 weeks or a month, and then write it.
Write it, regret it.
Turtle
Say
Time
it,
speak.
forget it. Write it, regret it.
And then lastly, this is how you become an upper echelon, like Turtle Time fan. The Patreon, which is where the Villa Rosa VIPs congregate. It's this beautiful oasis in a full desert of shit. You got to go there. It's $5. If you pay that, you get 4 hour-long or hour-plus episodes where Amy and I are just like this, almost exactly like this, but except longer,
unfettered,
completely. And talk about canceled this episode. We say the most cancelable shit you've ever heard in your life on Patreon, and it's about something that Amy and I truly love. Just pure, unfiltered Vanderpump Rules Season 4 is where we're currently at.
So good.
Okay, good. All right, that's the pitch. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Woo! Amy, thank you so much. I'm going to break the fourth wall and say that Amy is here at 9:20 p.m. on a Wednesday. Thank you, Amy. This is so sweet, but I feel like it was worth it.
Good night and good luck.
Good night and good luck.
This one's for you tonight.